All right, here we go. Check 1 2. This is your boy Tony Maceo coming to you live and direct from Power and Strategy on YouTube. And today I got my partner with me, the one and only, the illustrious Fat Mack, Big Mike Almighty Triple XL from Mac City. And we're doing this little impromptu podcast going out to the Mac City citizens, going out to all my subscribers here at Power and Strategy. And my boy hit me with this story. I had heard this girl's name, but I really didn't take time to really look at it, and see what was going on and see what was happening. But, he just hit me with the particulars of this shit. And so I'm looking at it here and trying to make sense of it. It's the Cyntoia Brown case. Now, he's a bit more familiar with this than I am, because I think this is closer to his wheelhouse. It's something we can both relate to, but I think it's something closer in his wheelhouse than it is in mine. So first of all, I would like to welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Almighty Triple XL, the Fat Mack. Say what's up, Doc.
Yeah, shit, man. Hey, before I begin, where we broadcasting from?
We broadcasting from
Power Strategy?
Yeah,
or Genosha?
Yeah. No, we broadcasting from Power Strategy. Yeah, I can't put no niggardry on Genosha, man. I said I was gonna try to make that niggardry free.
And Strategy.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm just didn't make a show. You know what I mean? Okay, y'all, what's going on? All right, because now I see the live. I see it now and shit. Okay, gotcha. Man, no be good on this one. Watif would be good on this one.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
You should get Watif on it. Watif liable to blow a gasket.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. I think if he's here sometime, if he pops up in the chat room, I might send him a link. But yeah, Tony Snow, welcome, Tony Snow. Tony Snow is in the house. Billy Jeff is back, fucking with us. What's up? So,
let me
go ahead.
Yeah. Oh well, shoot. You wanted me to go ahead and just talk, girl, man, as far as what I know about her and whatnot.
Yeah. What is this? I mean, tell the people what this case is. What is this about? What is this case about, or what have you?
Okay, what we have here, the particulars are not necessarily, how can I put this? All right, because I'm trying not to go into too much depth, because, I don't have the steel mind trap that you have for times, places, and dates. But we have a trick baby here. We got a female who, I'm not even remembering what age she got caught up in this bullshit.
She was 16. She was 16.
She was 16. Okay, well, she's a trick baby. Her mama was white, and I'm assuming that the daddy was black, no doubt.
We're not familiar with that now, are we?
No, of course we're not familiar with that, man. But the mama was on like meth and heroin, and she gave the child up for adoption. And I believe the adoptive parents were black. Now, this young lady, she, for the most part, was in trouble a lot in school. She was, like I said, she was a troublesome child, man. And then she went ahead and got mixed up with some cat named Cutthroat, who was her pimp. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. She was being trafficked by a pimp named Cutthroat?
I hesitate to say trafficked, but
excuse me. She was hoeing for a pimp named Cutthroat.
Exactly.
Okay, let me say it that way.
Yeah, because I've seen about 2 or 3 documentaries on this chick, man, and she was complicit the whole goddamn way, man. I mean, she was out there actively trying to get this dude. I mean, right before the act happened that got her locked up, she was actively out there hoeing to get this dude. I think a Suburban or a truck with some rims or some shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, she was out there complicit and willing to do whatever the hell she had to do to please this dude, man. But since she got caught up and she overstepped her bounds, now it's time to go into victim mode. You know what I mean? But just looking at her progression, just looking at how she came up, just looking at how she got down, everyone talking about how much of a victim she was. Just hilarious to me, man. I'm thinking to myself, right? because cats is kind of like confused about why me and you are doing this when
Mm-hmm.
we are speaking on underage girls getting into this nonsense. Now, to
Mm-hmm.
the average square nigga, it would appear that for some reason we have a love for underage girls and we want to be able to play with underage girls. That's not it. What is it is we want these women or these young girls to be accountable for what they do. That's all. Just like Tony has said, it all starts at a young age. We have weaponized women and we have made it so that no matter what they do, it's just perfectly acceptable. It's perfectly fine. And then when they get older, it becomes very detrimental to men when women have this mindset. And we can see this played out with the Cyntoia Brown chick, where she met up with this white trick, went to the white trick's house. The white trick was asleep, and then she blew his brains out. Now she tells a different story. She says that she was feeling uncomfortable and she was fearing for her life when he was, he was tricked trying to buy some, but at the point where they were trying to make the transaction, she was telling him no. You know what I mean? And he was like having a conversation with her, like, you know what I mean? Well, from what I gathered with the case, he just laid down and they was watching TV, they was eating. Then all of a sudden, this comes out of left field. She shoots him in the head.
Well, the NPR story says
Mm-hmm.
it says about it's always a pimp in the mix. A pimp named Cutthroat. Got a pimp named
Uh
Slickback,
huh.
but this is a pimp named Cutthroat.
Right.
She was living with Cutthroat at 16 years of age, and she was tricking at a Sonic drive-through in Nashville. That's a
Mm-hmm.
hell of a track. The Sonic drive-through
Right.
is where she was tricking, and they
Mm-hmm.
said that she was tricking at the Sonic drive-through. And what wound up happening is that this guy gave her, according to NPR, this guy gave her $150. They were supposed to turn the trick for $150. That's the way the story goes. Is that he gave
Mm-hmm.
her $150 to turn a trick. She was out here, of course, whoring for Cutthroat, and she
Mm-hmm.
said that he was the killing part. He, I guess he gave. No, I don't think he gave her the money. They were getting ready to do it, and she said she pulled the pistol and shot him. She said it was self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
She pulled the pistol and shot um, the trick. And she said she feared for her
Mm-hmm.
life. But I'm saying the thing with me is, okay, you fear for your life. I get that, self-defense. Okay, because hoes take a chance
Mm-hmm.
when they selling pussy. You know that you can get assaulted. You can get brutally beaten. You can get killed. You never know what you're gonna get, right? So
Right.
she said that she pulled a pistol or shot him. She said because she feared for her life. But then she robbed him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, if you fear
Yep.
for your life, if you fear for your life, then why wouldn't you get out of Dodge? Why are you
Once
robbing
again, we
him?
got a situation. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Why are you robbing him? Because usually, if it's a situation where you scrapping with a motherfucker, you usually, you stun him. You do something to put him on his back so that you can run, you can dip, you can get away.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she robbed him.
Right.
She robbed him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shoot.
fearing for your life, Robbie, those two things don't make
Did you
sense
see
to me.
it? First of all, did you see a picture? Have you seen the picture of the trick?
No, I ain't see a picture of the trick. I ain't see a
Wow,
picture of
man.
the
You gotta
trick.
see a picture of this trick, man. You want to talk about just a cornball dude, man. You know what I mean? And I know people are probably gonna say, man, you can't deduce what a person is, you know what I mean, just by looking at him. Well, I'm gonna let you know this. Big Mike can. I can look at you and I can tell, what you about and what you're capable of, man. And this dude, he was just a lonely trick trying to come up. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then the whole story of the broad saying, look, I was there and I was fearing for my life because he was making these advances. Number one, you was hoeing, okay? You was hoeing, and he was trying to, make good on the transaction. What did I miss here? what did I miss here? And by her admission, that whole day she had been hoeing that whole day. So now all of a sudden she get a conscience. And then she says, like, yes, he was making me uncomfortable when I was at his house and he was making these aggressive moves. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of idiot trick would bring you to his house to try and rape you? Are you digesting this, Tony?
Yeah,
If
that
I'm
doesn't
gonna
make any
be
sense to me.
if I'm gonna be a rapist trick, I'm not gonna bring you to my house. I'm gonna take you somewhere where you can't come back and seek retribution. If you escape, at least I'm not gonna give you the 411 on my location. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come the
Right.
fuck on, man. And due to the fact that this is my wheelhouse, this is what I do, man. You know what I mean? I said this on one of my podcasts just a week ago, man. I was talking to the Hydra. The Hydra was 17 years old. She got married, went overseas with a military man, and shit, she at 17, she had 3 dudes on the base that she was fucking and sucking, and one of them was her husband's commanding officer at 17, dog.
What?
And this is what I see. Yes, and this is what I see daily. This is what I see monthly. And I gotta listen to these fuck niggas tell me how innocent these bitches are. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like being in Fight Club. You know what I mean? It's a special kind of knowledge that you just gotta have. It's a special kind of experience that you just gotta have. A lot of these people, a lot of these civilians just don't understand. They just don't know. And as far as the cutthroat motherfuckers doing, she was actively out there trying to get money for Cutthroat so she could buy this nigga a new car or a new truck or some rims. She admitted that. She admitted that shit in court, man.
Shit.
You know what I mean? And so she went ahead. She bust caps off in the dude when he was asleep with his back turned. I don't know how she got off saying that he was making advanced moves towards her while his back was towards her. You know what I mean? I'm like, seriously, man? And then she robbed him. Well, I know what that's about. I had females in the game that was robbing dudes all the time, but they never killed them in the process. You understand me? So she was out there robbing mother. And you know what? She was probably out there robbing other cats. And it probably just, in this case, it just went sour. And, she was fearing for her life as far as Cutthroat was concerned. You know what I mean? So she like, shit, I better make daddy happy. And I got to bring back this money and I got to bring back something. You know what I mean? But she was complicit the whole way. And I know people will say, well, she was only 16. Fuck all that. You know what I mean?
Well,
shit, I got females. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Our favorite troll is back in the house. He's, changed the spelling of his name so he can get in here. This bitch ass Derek C. Williams is back in here again. He's saying, are we mad because she smoked the trick?
No.
And no. He's saying he disagrees. But he's saying, what does he disagree on? Does he disagree on the facts? Does he disagree, He's saying she was a child. That's what he's saying. She was a child. And I think in his defense, I think Miss Nicole Michelle says, okay, well, nobody's going to call this guy out for sleeping with an underage girl. And okay, let's say we do call out the trick. But even if we call out the trick, does that absolve her for shooting him? The law didn't think so because they gave her a life sentence without parole. Now, in the state of Tennessee, which is where this crime went down she got a life sentence when she was a juvenile. And the state of Tennessee says that a life sentence when you are a juvenile is unconstitutional. So I think they rolled back the life sentence. And what wound up happening was they gave her, she was granted clemency. It didn't mean she was exonerated. She became a person that the governor pardoned, in other words. She wasn't a cause. The Me Too movement made her a cause celeb.
Right.
What is her name? The bitch that looked like KRS-One with the big ass nose like KRS-One.
Right.
She became a cause celeb for the Me Too movement, and they were talking about she was innocent and she was a victim and all this shit. And so they said, well, no, they weren't going to set aside her conviction. But what they did give her was clemency. And so she was released when she was 15 years old. She was released. And you would think, you would think that after that experience, that she would, I guess she would go kind of straight. What happened to her after she was released? Because I don't know what happened to her after she was released. Because I know they got a TRO out on her for her to stay away from her own son. She can't even go visit her own child. She can't even see her own
Who
child.
who can't see their own child? Who you talking about?
Cyntoia Brown.
She got a baby?
She got a baby. She got a baby.
Well, I missed that part. I don't know. But baby by who?
She got a baby. She's ordered to stay
By
away from
who?
her. Oh, I'm sorry. It's her stepson. It's not hers. She's ordered to stay away. The judge signed an order for her to stay away from her 11-year-old stepson. And it was filed, the restraining order was filed by the kid's natural mother, from what I understand. And it's a restraining order for her to stay away from him due to, her having a criminal conviction. And the judge granted that.
Wait. You talking about the marriage that she's in now?
Well, the thing is that from what I'm seeing here, the son's natural mother,
Mm-hmm.
she's going with the son's father. That's Pretty Ricky, the rapper with the braids. She married him while she was in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mother wanted to filed a restraining order for her to stay away from him because of her criminal conviction for murder. Right. And due to the fact that she's messing around with Pretty Ricky, the rapper.
Okay. So you're talking about Pretty Ricky's son?
Yeah, he's Pretty Ricky's son. Well, that's correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's what I need to know. Okay.
So,
man, well, this is my thing, man.
Derek T. Williams says she was a baby that was forced to turn tricks. Do you buy that?
Man, I'm not paying attention to this square ass nigga in this motherfucker, man. This is the type of nigga that, she would blow this nigga's brains out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shit. And, and I can't remember if it was substantiated if the white boy knew that she was underage or not. You know what I mean? But regardless, it doesn't make any difference to me. You know what I mean? My main goal, my main purpose is to light a fire under these little hot ass bitches and let them know you will be accountable for what the fuck you do. You will be accountable for what the fuck you do. And later on in life, you will not be able to point back and you will not be able to say, because he did this to me, she did that to me. It's not my fault. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a victim. I sat up and I watched a whole bunch of interviews of her when she was a child, right?
Right.
When they were doing these documentaries, man. And, man, she has a very sociopathic undertone, man. It's just like she had a laissez-faire kind of attitude. She didn't really care. She was cracking jokes while she was in the prison and cracking jokes while she was talking about the murder and whatnot. And I'm like, this is a cold-blooded little bitch right here, man.
She was cracking jokes in prison?
Cracking jokes, man, when, during the interview when they was talking about what led up to her shooting the dude and shit. And I'm like, dang, is anybody watching this? Is anybody just actually taking this all in? You know what I mean? Me doing 10 years, that's what I used to do. I used to supervise criminals for 10 years. You know what I mean? Right. And I know if you got it in you to murder someone in cold blood. You know what I mean? And yeah, she got it in her, man. All it takes is just the wrong kind of cat to get in her ear. And yeah, she gonna do that shit, man. She got a lot of sociopathic shit going on in her life, in her subconscious, man, in her psyche. So, like I said, you get these square niggas that ain't never did shit, ain't never been in the streets, ain't never mixed it up on a street level, man. Yeah, it could seem like me and you being a little hard on them and shit, but like I said, from 14 to 17, I done seen these females do all sorts of devilishment, you know what I mean, and get away scot-free because, oh, I'm a victim. Oh, I'm a child. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you can sell that to these Forrest Gump niggas out here, but to a cat like me, nah, man. And we can also further see where her mind is at when she got out. She didn't go get a doctor or a lawyer or an architect. What did she get? She get another dirty dick riding. She get the tattooed nigga, the nigga with the braids. She get the nigga with the, the street cred. Of course, he disguising his dustiness. Yeah, a baby daddy. She disguising all that shit. or he's disguising his dustiness in gospel rap. You know what I mean? This is what she liked. This is what she into. You know what I mean? So this is going out to Nicole Michelle. I'm like, this just seems to be the blueprint of what females all across the board like. They like that image. You know what I mean? And they gonna run after it. And they gonna go ahead and get that taste. You know what I mean? So nah, this bitch ain't had me fooled, man. But to these suckers out here, you know what I mean, man? These sucker ass niggas out here, man, getting robbed by these bitches, man. And it won't be me, Jack. Nah, you mad because a trick got murdered? I give less than 2 fucks about that. I'm trying to go ahead and set up something that's advantageous to our sons in the future. So, we don't have our sons getting taken down by these cutthroat ass bitches because they're being cultivated. They're being raised right here in front of us, man. You know what I mean? Because no one's holding them accountable for the shit that they do. And that's my main goal. You will be accountable for the shit you do, bitch.
So the thing is, they said, well, they're hanging their hat on the fact that she's underage. That's the whole story here. They're saying, well, she was underage, she was a baby, she was this, but I think she was a runaway. You see what I'm saying? So now the question is, okay, what was going on in her home so bad that she ran away? Unfortunately, we'll never know that story because nobody's talking about that story. But I will say, in a lot of instances, of course, kids will run away because they'll run away because they're being abused, or they'll run away because of whatever situation is going on in their home that they're not proud of. But not every kid runs away from home because they're being abused. Some of these little motherfuckers just bad. They're just bad, and they don't want any rules, regulations, or guidelines, and they just have to learn the hard way. So the idea is that, every time a kid is a runaway that they're abused. No, sometimes these little motherfuckers are just rebellious. And they're going through a stage for whatever reason they're going through it, and they get out here in the streets and they get themselves into situations that's beyond their mental capacity to handle. So I think what Nicole said, it said she was abused. Nicole said she was abused. And so she was abused, and she went to a pimp named Cutthroat to continue
abused
getting
by
abused.
who?
Huh?
She was abused by who?
I guess she was abused by her parents.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't?
No, she was not.
Nicole, are you familiar with this story? Nicole is in the chat room. Are you familiar with this story, Nicole Michelle? Because Nicole is swearing that she was abused. And
she needs to clarify by which parents. Now, she couldn't have been abused by her natural parents because she was given away for adoption, like when she was born. As far as I know, the adoptive parents were stellar parents. They were real good parents. And I think I don't know if he was from a military background or he was a truck driver or whatever. But no, I mean the parents, the adoptive parents, were squeaky clean. This bitch was just crazy. Cyntoia was just goddamn crazy. Yeah. But this is something, once again, if you were square, you wouldn't know it, because me and you both know there's some sort of darkness that come over the trick babies, man. Because that's what she is. She's a trick baby. You know what I mean? She's from a product of a white mother on dope and a black trick. You know what I'm saying? So for some reason, she's had some I don't know, some darkness over her all her life about it, and she just acted out on it, no matter where she went or who she was with. But
these trick babies are definitely cracked glasses. Right. They're definitely cracked glasses. I know that from experience. A lot of these trick babies, I mean, I don't know what it is, but they suffer deep personality and behavioral disorders. And they tend to be very rebellious. They're not in. They don't do structure very well, Right. They have yards of issues. They have boxes of baggage. They have boxes of problems and disorders and shit that takes years to unpack if you're ever successful in unpacking them. But no, these trick babies ain't right, man. These trick, no, they're not right. These trick babies are off. So they said, well, why are and Nicole Michelle asked this question, and this is a question, and we're taking these questions in the chat room as you ask them. So, Nicole Michelle asks, you know, why are people so hard on little black girls? Why are we so hard? Well, not why we. She said, why are people in general so hard on little black girls? So, is it that we got some kind of axe to grind with these little black girls?
No.
Um, what is it? Are we just being unduly harsh? Or are we just concentrating on them and not looking at the circumstances or the environment? Are we just being biased because we're men? Is this a situation where
No.
we just want to push around some little black girls, little defenseless girls, because they're low hanging fruit? I mean, so why are we so hard? My thing is because again, I've seen both sides of the track. Yes, I've seen kids that come from abusive parents. That's why I generally have a lot of compassion for kids that come from abusive parents, because I deal with kids that come from abusive parents. I see that
Mm-hmm.
shit firsthand. And it's not, and I see it in both the girls and the boys. I have a girl right now in my class. I'm not gonna call her name. She comes from a background of sexual abuse, and she has a problem even communicating with people. And right now she's at that stage where she could go either way, you know. And it's like, if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to her, if you're asking her a question, you look in her face and you ask her a question, she will not answer you. She will not
Mm-hmm.
answer you. And I'm sure there are some issues there. There's no question there's some issues there. So how do you we're still trying to figure out how to engage that child and get her some help. But then I know that there are other situations where you have children that, may be trick babies. They may be trick babies, or they come from homes where, they have a structured environment and they're just rebellious. KRS-One, right? KRS-One
Mm-hmm.
had a stepson that just blew his brains out.
Mm-hmm.
It just blew his brains out and committed suicide. And he was like, look, we did everything, me and his mother did everything that we knew how to do. We did everything that we could do. And he said, sometimes, these kids are just fucked up. He said, sometimes these kids are just fucked up. You know, um, the question is what do you do when these kids are fucked up? Who do you place the responsibility on for a child? For who do you place the responsibility on for a child that's just reckless? For a child that's just grimy? For a child that's just rebellious? I mean, who do you place that responsibility on when that child runs away from home? I mean, who do you blame? It's like on the last podcast when you said, well, look, you said you can't blame the parents for, and when we were talking about R. Kelly, you said, how
Right.
can you blame the parents if they didn't know, what she would, what the child was doing?
Right.
How can they be blamed if they didn't know what Geronda, I think that was her name, what Geronda Pace was doing? So how can you blame her parents? How can you blame their parents if they don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that's a good question. How do you blame the parents if they don't know? Do you blame the parents for not knowing? Because when your child escapes your eyesight, unless you're going to walk with them, handcuffed by the wrist, you don't know what the hell they're doing. You don't know where the hell they are. So in some instances rather, you're right. How do you say who's responsible at that? Who do you hold responsible at that point except the kid? That's my question. And that's a question that nobody has ever answered that question. When I say, okay, well, if the parents don't know, then who do you hold responsible? Because I'm sure at some point, I believe that everybody at a certain point, they know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think they know right from wrong. And I think at a certain point, you know, that girl got to be held responsible for what she did. Like, she got to be held responsible for what she did. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently the state of Tennessee felt the same way, because they didn't set
Mm-hmm.
aside the conviction, but they did give her clemency. So she's still a convicted felon, even though
Right.
she's released. Okay. That TRO did go through, even though she's released. So at some point, The state said that she had to be responsible. The state argues, or the state believes that she has to be responsible. And so I'm going to say that too. I'm going to say at some point she has to be responsible. You can't put everything on the guy. Was the guy wrong for sleeping with that girl? Yeah. If that girl was underage, yeah, he didn't have any business even messing with that girl. I agree. He didn't
Mm,
have any business messing around with an underage girl. That shit was foul. But then by the same token, you don't put yourself in that position either. So you don't get absolved for creating some shit, and then when it backfires, you don't get to come back and play the victim. Now I can't do that. I can't co-sign that. I
mm,
can't in any way stand by that. I can't do it. You know.
mm.
So of course we have another troll in here. We have another troll in here. What is this? Rayon Payne. Tricks are the problem. They got no standards and no class. Most tricks have AIDS and are bums. You have this nigga in here. Uh, let me remove this nigga out of here. He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then this other nigga up, he said, "Don't y'all make trick babies? Don't tricks make trick babies?" That's what he said. Don't y'all make the trick babies? You know.
No, all my babies are legitimate, homie. Hmm. All of them were created within marriage.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. So
Yeah.
the question is okay. At what point do we say he was responsible for seeking to have sex with an underage? What point do we set it? If 16 is underage in the state of Tennessee, and I know people are going to say, well, she's still 16. She's still a baby. She's still a
Look,
baby.
look,
She's
look.
still a
Check this
baby. She's
out, man. Check
16.
this out, man. Look, niggas IQs is low, super low. This what Big Mike is on, man. Big Mike is on accountability for your fucking actions. That's it. It's simple mathematics. What people are doing right here, they are enabling the school to prison pipeline, and they're enabling the fact that they are weaponizing women. Okay, none of this bodes well for the black community. If you could just sit down and you could just have a common sense discussion with someone, if they did A, B, C, and D, and if that adds up to a criminal act, then it is what it is. I'm not giving two shits about how old they are. If they did it, they got to get what's coming to them. Shit, and I don't give a fuck how old they are, man. Look, extreme situations call for extreme measures, and the black community is an extreme situation where uh we basically have just the garbage rising to the top. We got the garbage outbreeding the classic people. You know what I'm saying? So we got a situation where something serious got to be done to stop this influx of trash. And
Well,
people making excuses for all these trashy ass niggas, nigga, it's got to stop. Be it male or female. I hold the female underage child to the same accountability as a male underage child. And you know me, once again, 10 years in the joint and doing foster care. And when I did my job, man, whether it was in foster care or whether it was in a prison, I got my best dividends, my best returns when I looked a motherfucker straight in the face and I said the maximum effective range of your excuses, nigga, is 0 meters. I don't want to hear it. Either you gonna be victorious or you gonna fail, you gonna fall. I don't want to hear about who didn't love you. I don't want to hear that your daddy wasn't there. I don't want to hear that your mama don't like you. I don't want to hear that shit, man. Fuck these weak ass niggas and their excuses. Shit. I'm tired of this shit, man. Niggas gotta boss up, man. Niggas running around here with this, they children and they victims. No, they not, nigga. I done seen a whole bunch of females put niggas, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's a cold game out here, Jack. And when you talk about 13, 14, 15-year-old bitches out here, cold, heartless, doing some fucked up shit to niggas, man. Misrepresenting themselves, talking all sorts of crazy shit, getting niggas twisted up in the game, man. And a lot of niggas didn't even know they was underage, man. So, like I said, I don't go by this square ass credo these motherfuckers is talking about. I know better. I've been out here, man.
well, I want to get to something that something Nicole said in the chat room. when she was talking about how they're the product of the hookup culture, how a lot of these kids are the product of a hookup culture. In other words, not the product of a marriage, a mother and a father, two-parent household. But before I get there, I wanted to go back to what you were saying because it was one. You remember the little motherfucker that got his head blown off in Chicago, Robert Yummy Sandifer. Remember him?
Yeah. Yep.
And they were
Hmm.
talking about how that was tragic, and I was like, no, not really,
No, not really.
not
Mm-mm.
really.
He wins the Darwin Awards.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah, that Sandifer, Robert Yummy Sandifer, that little motherfucker was a monster.
Right.
Yummy was a motherfucking monster, dog. There wasn't nothing
Hmm.
kind or gentle or cuddly about him. He was a monster,
Hmm.
you know, and it's. I think we're looking at the world through rose-colored glasses if we think that all of these children, or we put these children in a bag to say that they're harmless. Nah, man. A lot of these, like you said, a lot of these kids are ruthless for whatever reason.
Bruh.
A lot of these kids are ruthless.
Hmm.
You know. So what do you do? Do you absolve them, of their criminal acts because that's not the way it works with the law. There's a juvenile detention facility. So they don't say that just because they're, 16 years old that they get to skate because they're underage. No, you still have to answer for your crime even though you're underage, you know. And it's it's a hard thing to say. It's a hard thing to put these motherfuckers beyond the scope of responsibility for their actions. And so I think that some accountability should be had for these kids. I think it's necessary because, after all, what the fuck are we teaching them in the first place? We are teaching them to be adults. And adults are what?
Hmm.
Accountable. They're responsible for their
Hmm.
own actions, you know. So I think that the point that Nicole was making, going back to her point, now I want to revisit that now. She's saying that these kids are a product of the hookup culture. They're a product of the hookup culture. The fact that we
That's
haven't
true.
had, yeah, that's true. We haven't had two
Hmm.
parent homes in the last 30 or 40 years. That's certainly a point. But here's the question, though. Not the question, but here's the issue. If they're a product of the hookup culture, and this is where I believe she's trying to go, and she can, let me know if she's wrong. But if they're the product of the hookup culture, don't we share some responsibility?
Oh yeah, well, that's why I've attempted to clean up some of the messes that some of these niggas have made. You know what I mean? Through my foster experiences, man. You know what I mean? Because I do understand that to a certain point, if it don't be me, then who? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna step forward and try and clean this shit up, man? And I don't fault nobody else if they don't want to take on and tackle this nonsense, man. But it's an uphill battle, just like when I was doing the foster care, man. Because basically, what the foster agency would do, they would send me they gangbangers, you know what I mean? Because they kind of knew that Big Mike can handle the worst that they had, you know what I mean? And I was cold on them, Jack. You know what I mean? I wasn't letting them get away with shit, but the foster agency was treating them with kid gloves. You know what I mean? Every time that a child wouldn't come in and they would break curfew or whatever, let the foster agency know that this young man is not following the rules and regulations of my house. You know what I mean? What y'all plan on doing? They wouldn't do shit. They, little slap on the wrist, come in, give verbal reprimands or whatever. And I'm like, see, this is the problem. This is the problem. And when I go upside your head, you're gonna want to call the boys on me, right? But it's a situation where, like I said, the school to prison pipeline is real. They are leading these children, they're setting them up for failure because every time they do something as a child, no one tends to hold them accountable for what the fuck they do. And then all of a sudden, when they hit 18, then they get hit with that hammer. You know what I mean? But I wasn't gonna let that happen to my boys. I hit them with the hammer before they turned 18. You know what I mean?
That
Yeah.
was that
So,
was funny because I could have sworn Bill Cosby said that. I
yeah.
could have
And
sworn
of
Bill
course,
Cosby said that, and we freaked the
yeah,
fuck out when he said that, right?
niggas didn't want to hear it because niggas is pussy, man. You know what I mean? What kind of a warrior culture would not allow you to hold people accountable for what the fuck they do. Where they do that at? You know what I'm saying? The black race is doomed as a whole. If we can't just sit down and say, you did A, B, and C, you was out of pocket, hit that bitch with the hammer. And I don't give a fuck what the past was. Shit, I got PTSD. I got mental issues. If I go out and I start just blasting motherfuckers, don't nobody give a fuck about, what happened to me in Desert Storm or what happened to me 10 years in that goddamn prison. It's just shit, nigga. It is what it is. You out of pocket. And that's what it is with these children, man. These children are out of pocket. Man, I'm not, like I said, I'd have been in the foster care situation, man. And man, these kids is monsters, man. These kids is low-key goddamn monsters, man. And I was just like, damn. Because I was doing 24-hour prison duty. I would have to be at the prison. Then I would have to come home. And then I would have to play CO and cop in my own house. Because these little motherfuckers was crazy, man. And they got that way because no one ever held them accountable for what the fuck they did. And so when they meet somebody like me that says, no, sir, we ain't gonna have that shit, they short circuit. They like, what? You mean I can't, stay out all night? I can't smoke weed. I can't be out there feeling on girls and raping on. Man, they was crazy, man. And I'm like, nah, you can't do that. Give them rules and regulations. They short fucking circuit, man. So like I said, the trick is to hit all of them, male or female, underage, with the hammer before they're 18. Therefore, we don't fill up the prisons with our best and our so-called brightest. Because, like I said, the boys that I have, they stellar now. They good. They Gucci. All they needed was somebody just to hit them with the hammer. That's all they needed. And they was like, oh, and I woke them up and they good.
Well, what was the time you said the little boy called you Big Mike? What you say, you little motherfucker? And you hit it with the 1-2.
You talking about that was my biological son.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my biological
you Big Mike son, instead of dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the boys coming in, they're not my biological sons. So that's what they would call me, Big Mike. You know what I mean? And so I guess my son, I don't know what's going on with him and what was going on in his head, but he thought he could just call me Big Mike as well. And I put these hands on his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, don't in your life call me Big Mike, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Pops, father, daddy. That that's what it is. But don't disrespect me, nigga. You know what I mean? And to this day, they still talk about that shit because they say that Mark, he's the bravest child out of all the children in the house because he was always and Mark crazy. My son, he like me, kind of stubborn. He willful. You know what I mean? He want to do what the fuck he want to do, and if you tell him that he can't do it, he gonna do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's like I'm not. I'm not cut from that shit, man. As far as my military background, and I got a serious problem, man, with people with this pussy shit, man, saying that we can't hold these children accountable for what the fuck they do, man. Because we can, and I've seen what happens when we do it. They blossom. They blossom.
That brings me. Well, let me ask you this question, because in the black community, a lot of these kids are being raised by these ignorant ass single mothers. These. A lot of them got thought mamas, hoish mamas. Do we hold their asses accountable? Do we check them?
Do we check them?
Yeah, they're thought mamas. They're hoish ass mamas who don't have a standard, who don't have any rules, regulations, boundaries, or guidelines. They just let their kids do any damn thing, that they feel like that they're grown enough to do. Do you think that there should be a standard in the community where we beat their mamas' asses?
Nah, you can't do that, man. You got to do that shit when they're young, man. You know what I mean? It's
I'm not talking about the
cause.
kids. I'm talking about the
mama.
mothers that are having. Yeah, they're mothers that are having these kids.
Cause.
They're lost cause.
No, it's a lost cause. It's a
Why
lost cause. Why
you think that's a lost cause?
It just is because it's just a lost cause. Once someone get to a certain age, I mean, I just write them off because I've been in the game trying to rehabilitate children and some of these ratchet mamas, man. You know what I mean? And it's much easier to rehabilitate the child than a ratchet ass mama, man. So, like, if I was on a mission to mentor a child, sad to say, I would have to see where the head of the mama is at first. And if she's too far gone for me to actually mentor that child, I have to leave that child alone.
Well,
Because I know from experience that this broad is going to undo anything positive that I've done for this child.
well, Nicole Michelle is back, and
Mm-hmm.
she brings up this point. She said, you know, y'all keep sleeping with the single mothers. Just stop fucking them, stop fucking them. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, how does a random nigga sleeping with the child affect their behavior? Well, it may affect how they see sex and sexuality. So I guess I can see that argument there. So she's saying, look, um, we should just, cut them off. Just cut them off. Just exile them. Get rid of them. Stop fucking with them. Put them over here in the corner. East is east, west is west, and never the twain shall meet. So, in other words, single mothers should be ostracized, and that will correct the problem. Do you agree with that?
I believe it can help. I believe it can help.
You believe it can help if we ostracize them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If there's enough cats out here that's going to ignore the single mama and give her no play at all, be it financial, be it attention, be it just any sort of attention at all, yeah, I believe that a lot of females will probably change their tune.
Okay.
But we know that ain't gonna happen. That ain't
Yeah.
gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because actually, as far as parking lot pimping goes, the females that are easiest to bust down, you know what I mean, are the single mothers, man. Because
Oh.
to me, when I see a woman with like I say, that has a child out of wedlock, especially multiple children out of wedlock with multiple baby daddies, I know I'm dealing with a woman with no standards. You know what I mean? And so when I see that, I'm thinking more so it's going to be easier to bust her down than a female who don't have no children at all. Because a female who don't have any children, she values herself. Or she may have some sort of debilitating vaginal disease, which would cause her not to have children. You know what I mean? Because I've been fooled before. I've been out here and I was like, man, this female, she must have her head really screwed on tight. But for some reason, it wasn't like she was actually willfully trying not to have kids. She just couldn't have kids. And it turned out she was a ratchet anyway. But
okay.
yeah.
I believe the argument is that when you sleep with them, you're giving validation of what they do. You are in a sense co-signing their fuckery if you sleep with them. I think that's what the argument is. And then we got a girl in here calling herself a proud hoe in the chat room. Ain't that a bitch?
I love you, baby. I love you, baby.
Calling herself a proud hoe. Let me say this.
Honesty, that's all I require.
Let me say this. There's a difference between entertainment and there's a difference between reality. There's a difference between entertainment. There's a difference between the circus and a difference between real life. Hoeing doesn't lead to any type of viable or prosperous community. Okay, that's I respect the fact that you're honest, but saying you're a hoe, that's nothing to be proud of. That's nothing to be proud of. You're honest, I get it. You're walking in your truth, I get it. You're being honest about who you are. You're being upfront about who you are. Being a hoe is nothing to be proud of. It's not.
I disagree with that. I vehemently disagree with that.
Why do you disagree? Explain why you disagree.
Because,
you think it's okay to be a hoe?
Oh yeah, because from what I'm guessing, from what I'm seeing in my life experience, for the most part, the hoes are the only honest women out here.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying that that's not something to champion. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's not something to champion. I wouldn't champion saying I'm a hoe. I wouldn't champion saying that. I don't think that anyone would champion saying I'm a hoe.
Even though these females can look you dead in your eye and basically tell you what she is and what she's about, versus a female who's basically coming in the back door trying to perpetrate being a good girl, but she's secretly a hoe.
Mm, dishonest. Dishonesty.
Because look,
Dishonesty,
because I
right?
mean, me and you, we have met them. We have
Yes.
met females who perpetrate and act one way, but they're not that. They're actually the obverse, the reverse of that. So when I meet a female who says, "Yes, I'm a hoe and this is how I get down," to me it's a breath of fresh air because I know what the fuck I'm dealing with.
I
Versus
mean,
a
yeah,
female who's trying to act like a good girl.
if you're saying, yeah, she's saying up front who she is, yeah, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't advise, nobody going on NBC. If you're in a relationship with a motherfucker, or excuse me, not in relationship, hoes. Well, hoes do relationships, but the question is, what kind of relationship do they have? But my thing is
Mm-hmm.
if you're honest and you're telling somebody you're a hoe, that's one thing. But when you
No,
start
I ain't gonna
promoting,
talk to her
when
today.
it's a situation where you start wanting to promote and dramatize that shit, nah, that ain't cool. You wouldn't want to be on NBC advertising the fact that you a hoe. That's not anything to aspire to be. But in terms of being honest with somebody in a
Well,
relationship, okay, I get that.
he on the phone now. You wanna call him back?
So
I'm sorry. Hold on, Tony. Hold on.
okay,
Say what?
so yes, Miss
All right,
Stacks.
go ahead.
So yeah, as I was saying,
Wait a minute.
that I understand that she's being honest. I understand she's being honest, but then again, that's
He's
nothing
still
that you want to
tired.
aspire to, is what I'm saying. Because when you
So
promote that image or you present that image to kids that are impressionable, to the young people that are impressionable, you don't want to send the signal that that shit is cool. That shit is not cool. I can respect the fact that you're honest. I get that. I respect the fact that you're honest and you're not gonna play no games. Point taken.
Mm.
But to promote that again, to promote that shit in the medium, in the public mediums, nah, I can't do that. That I can't do.
Okay.
Your honesty is one thing, but promoting that shit, no, you don't go on Fox, you don't go on NBC, you don't go on MSNBC, you don't go on CBS, you don't go on ABC talking about I'm a hoe. Nah, I can't do
All
that.
right. All right.
But the
All
fact
right.
that she's honest, yeah.
All
And
right. Well,
and
let's.
by the way, she's back. She says at Max City Limits, a hoe broke you out your home and marriage. That's what she just stated.
She said a hoe broke me out my home and marriage.
Yes.
They don't know what they're about, man.
No,
But
that's what
basically,
she said.
I'll
So
come back.
she said, I'm a
Like
solid
I
hoe.
said,
I will break a man out of everything. Okay, this is her being arrogant now. But go ahead. What were you saying?
okay. Well, basically, what I'm saying is, you using that logic, you would have to apply that to us. We sit on here and we talk about the trick game. So,
Hmm.
does that apply to us?
It most definitely does, because I wouldn't go on
Mm-hmm.
NBC and scream. I wouldn't go on national television and scream at you, but we do it on here. And the reason we do it on here is from our perspective is we do the shit satirical. It's
Mm-hmm.
satirical. And what we're doing is we're pointing out an aspect of life that's real. Okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
what we're saying is that in every relationship, it always comes down to your money.
Mm-hmm.
In every relationship, it comes down to your money. So if they're saying, because the thing is in the black community is that if you're paying for sex, you're tricking, right? And then my thing, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, a husband is paying for sex. Is he tricking? Well, yeah, he would be a trick by that definition. When you go out on dates, you're not going out on dates just for the aesthetic. You're paying for sex. Is that tricking? Well, yeah, under that definition, it would be. Well, if you are trying to get to know a girl, or you so-called, because a lot of guys are get to this shit about game. They're able to, talk to women, and their mouth is real slick and so forth and so on. But these niggas are tricking with trinkets. So would they be tricks? Yes, under that definition, they would be tricks. So when we talk about it from the perspective that it's a life thing. They call it tricking, but really it's a fact of life. Because if you are going to be the sole controller, if you're going to be the man in charge of your household, you can't be the man in charge of your household asking for a bitch to pay the light bill. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be in
Mm-hmm.
control of your house and you don't have any financial authority over that woman. You don't have any money, any means to enforce any consequences. You don't have any means to lay down any law. You don't have the basis of which to issue any edicts or proclamations. So any man that's worth anything takes care of his home and takes care of his family. So when we say tricking, we were saying, look, everybody, if you really want to add it up, everybody's really tricking. If we really want to have that discussion, everybody in this motherfucker's tricking. Everybody in here is in here tricking, especially when you get married, because it's more expensive. The consequences are more expensive. The way the laws are structured makes it more expensive. So what we're saying at the end of the day is that pussy costs, but that's different than going on NBC and saying, well, yeah, by the connotation of the word, I believe in going out, because that's the thing that they've aimed at us. When they call us tricks, they think that we're out here on the strip, with bitches with $75 in your hand saying, look, can I get some head? I like some head. They think that you out here on the strip fucking with these bitches with money in your hand. And that's not what we're saying. That's never what we were saying. What we were saying is that in the end, there's no such thing as free pussy. It was just a recognition of reality. It wasn't a declaration that we were doing anything criminal, but that's how people took it. But the thing is that when you melt it down, everybody's exchanging. What is the common terminology? Your beauty for my resources. That's a trick relationship. But that's different than saying, okay, I'm a proud trick, or I'm a proud, or I promote tricking. What I'm saying is everybody's tricking. So it's not something that you promote. It's just a way of life. It's just a natural consequence of this man-woman thing. It's just a natural consequence of what happens when you out here looking for a woman. You're gonna go in your pocket. That was my position. That's where I was coming at it at. Is that all pussy costs? But if she's saying the whole, I'm looking at that as promoting a lifestyle. You're promoting a lifestyle, and if you're talking about a community, if you're talking about building a community, the promotion of that lifestyle, can't do that. And maybe she isn't saying that. Maybe she's just saying, I'm out here trying to get my money. The only thing I want is my money. I just want the money. I'm just out here trying to get my paper. That's all I want. I'm just out here hustling. Then if that's what it is and you saying what it is, then I can respect that. But then by the same token, if we talking about responsibility and community and family, then no, I can't co-sign that.
Well, a lot of people getting their wires crossed because shit, I done ran out of time, man, or situations and circumstances where cats is looking at our videos, and we always get some slow ass nigga in the comment section telling us stop championing or stop bragging about being tricks. So it would appear that a lot of cats think that we are bragging and we are promoting tricking.
Well, to a certain extent, we're not bragging, but what's happening is they're saying we got the nerve to be honest about it. That we should be ashamed of the fact we're tricking. And the thing is that if you add it up, everybody's tricking. I mean, if we go by their definition, their definition is the exchange of sex for money. And we're saying you're doing the same thing. How are you pointing at us for tricking and you're tricking? The nerve, as C Boogie would say, the nerve of you niggas, you're doing the same thing. You just don't come out and say, give me some pussy for X amount of dollars. No, you buying the bitch forces, you buying her Jordans, you're buying her Coach bags, you're buying her purses, you're tricking with trinkets. Because when it comes down to it, there is no such thing as free pussy. That's how I feel. There's no such thing as free pussy. You can forget it. There is no such thing as free pussy. Now, there are some guys that would say, well, I would disagree with that. Okay, one night stands. But you had to spend money even to have that one night stand. So it comes back to indirect tricking versus direct tricking. Now, when they come at us, they say, well, y'all got the nerve to say y'all tricks. Yeah, because we're doing what everybody's doing. We're saying what you're doing is backwards. You're tricking and you don't know it. We're tricking and we know what we're doing. We're cognizant of what we're doing. We're not in denial. But we also tell them what is our tagline? This is entertainment. It's not for if you're finding a real wife. Is that not what we've said?
Right.
Have we always put that out there? We've always said this is entertainment. This is some shit we're doing for entertainment. This is some shit we're doing for fun. But if you're looking for a wife, I do not support this. That's what we've always said. But then by the same token, if you out here and this is some short-term shit and you got to compete with the next nigga and, this nigga can't hold the bitch's attention. Or what happens is he's fucking her life up. He's doing what these trash bag niggas do, what these bum niggas do, and she need a little bit of money for that light bill. She need a little bit money for that gas bill or that water bill, or she need a little bit money for that spare tire, as it would be. You kick that shit in. That's a fair exchange. That's a fair exchange. You don't get something for nothing. So there's a difference between saying, okay, I'm promoting, I'm a proud whore, I'm promoting, or as if that's something to be. You know, if we're looking at long-term community, as opposed to two dudes just saying, look, everything costs. Everything costs. Or if we're going to say that, can we then turn around and say, now every woman is a hoe? Do we do that?
I do that. if you try to get married and you looking for the bag, I don't see too much of a difference.
Okay.
Shit. Looking for money and resources.
So what you're saying is it's the same thing.
Shit. If you saying that all men are tricks, then I can't understand how all women ain't hoes.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. If all men are tricks, so now the question is that would mean the children would be trick babies.
Not in the context of marriage.
Okay. Well, no. If the thing is like, let's take Nicole Michelle, for example. When she says get the bag, she's talking about marriage. She's talking about a family. Okay. So in that instance, would the women that subscribe to that ideology, would they be hoes? That's talking about getting the bag for marriage. Yeah, for marriage. Who's saying that the bag is not your money? The bag is also that designation that you are their husband. You are recognized by the state as their husband. You have legal rights and responsibilities under the color of law to them in that relationship. The state backs that contractual relationship. Is that person who wants the bag, that's not just your money, but wants a marriage and a family, because that's what the bag is. The bag, according to her, the bag is a marriage, money, and a family. Would that be a hoe? Can we classify that as a hoe?
I would not classify that as a hoe, and I would not classify that as a trick either.
Okay. Well, see, and that goes back to the distinction that I was saying. Okay, here, this is a short-term relationship. So the fact that she's honest, I can respect the fact that you're honest. I get that. You're honest. You're upfront. But then by the same token, if we're talking about some real shit, we can't co-sign that behavior. You see what I'm saying? So although you said, well, can we feel proud in the fact that we trick, if we're out here, if it's short-term sex? Yeah, what I'm lying about. I'm telling you up front what it is. I'm telling you up front what it is. But am I going to have babies by a prostitute? Hell no. Am I going to have a family with a prostitute? Hell no. The difference between the circus and reality, even though both of them work on money, the long range outcome, the long range objective is different. So you said you wouldn't call that. You wouldn't call that man, you wouldn't call the husband a trick, and you wouldn't call the wife a hoe, right?
Right.
Okay. So again, that makes my point, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, it's a nuanced argument, man. It's not really, to me, it's splitting hairs. I was just saying, let me see. Now I'm going back.
She was saying she was a proud hoe, is what she was saying. She was like, I'm a proud hoe. And I was like, okay, well, I get the fact that you're upfront and honest. I respect that. But real talk, that's probably something that you wouldn't be proud of. If you're talking about community standards, I respect the fact that you're upfront, and I respect the fact that you're walking in your truth, because like you said, it's a lot of bitches out here that are deceptive, and they are lying, and they are running game, because, I told you the story of the chick that I was dealing with back in 2014. She was out here talking about how righteous she was, and everything out her mouth was praise the Lord and all this shit and all that. See, I got a BV story too. She was out here talking about how righteous she was, and how good of a girl she was, and how this and how that. And then come to find out, she was fucking with Dollar Bill. Our friend Dollar Bill. She was fucking with two niggas that was associated with Dollar Bill, and they were police officers. And she was her ex-husband. I think he's out of the penitentiary now. Her ex-husband was a drug dealer, and two of Dollar Bill's associates was on the police force. And so she was fucking both of the police officers. And she used the police officers to arrest her husband. She snitched on her husband and sent her husband to prison. And the way she snitched on her husband and sent him to prison is because she had been having a sexual relationship with both of the police officers. And unless they were stupid, they said that neither one of them knew about the other one, but I don't believe that. They couldn't have been completely ignorant. But she was sleeping with both of the police officers, and she got her husband sent to jail that way. And so when he went to jail, she became a born again Christian. Praise the Lord, cue the church music and all of that shit. And so she would, I want to give honor to God, who's the head of my life, with the church organs and all of that. And she was one of these women one of these super Zaza Ali, but she had a real Christian slant to her. And so she was messing with me and then messing with my nigga Hustle Man on the side. She was fucking with both of us. And then she was like, yo, I got, you need to go get checked. I got BV. And then when I went and got checked, I was straight. And then I came back to her. I said, well, if you have BV, then that's a problem because I'm straight. I'm straight. What's up? Then she didn't want to talk about the shit no more. I don't even want to talk about that no more. But then it's something else. Then she started talking about it could be the cotton draws. Then she started talking about, it could be this, it could be the soap, it could be that. No. When you thought it was me, bitch, you thought it was me and the so-called ratchets that I fuck around with. But now when I'm clean and it's you, now you want to drop the subject. Now you don't want to discuss it anymore. And so it's the thing is that when we start talking about good girls, and people will say, well, there are signs and signals, but when they're presenting themselves to be something other than what they are, it would behoove you to pay attention to those signs and signals. But not everyone is as honest as this girl was. So I respect her honesty, but I can't co-sign that promotion.
She has something going on that's basically showing me that even though she is honest, she still really wouldn't make a good hoe. You know what I mean? Because what am I reading here? Max City Limits, a hoe broke you out your home in marriage.
Yeah,
this bitch don't listen. Yeah, she don't listen. She don't have the fine art of listening because I don't know where the fuck she got that shit from. You know what I'm saying? A hoe broke you out of your home in marriage. I broke myself out the home in marriage by having too many bitches. That's right. I went to the motherfucker well a little bit too much. I don't never blame the woman for shit. It's all on me. You know what I mean? But it wasn't no single bitch. I'm still getting paid off these bitches to this day. You know what I mean? So yeah, she ain't bright. A good hoe gotta have some sort of intelligence about her. But Misha, she ain't. I can tell already, man. She a drama queen, man. That's not really good for business.
Well, and that's the thing why I don't think that a lot of women are actually cut out for being hoes. The whole game ain't for everybody. The whole game, the whole game, and that includes the sugar babies because they're hoes too. The hoe in the sugar baby game is a short stop. It has a short shelf life because if you have to have some type of cunning, you have to have a degree of predatory intelligence in order to be a good hoe, in order to be a good sugar baby. And most of these women, Cyntoia Brown. Most of these chicks think that just because they breaking a nigga for about $50 or $75 as it would be, that makes them a real stomped down successful hoe. They think because no sugar baby or whatever, they think that just because they got a bunch of damn Instagram likes, or they think that because they got a bunch of likes on Facebook, or they think because they got some nigga in their inbox trying to switch, come up on them for the 75 or for the bill, that makes them a bona fide hoe and that they can actually work that hustle. But then they're not ready to deal with the consequences. because it's consequences to being a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
It's consequences to being a hoe. There's a hilarious story. Speaking of hoe, there's a hilarious story in the journal logs.
Right.
Journal logs where you were talking about three of your hoes went out of town and got stuck.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't even get back. And they had to depend on you to get back from where they
Mm-hmm.
were out of town.
Right.
You know, so when they talk about being a hoe, they talk about, the come ups. They don't talk about the consequences. They don't talk about the repercussions. They don't talk about all of the losses and the L's that they take. They just tend to glorify the come ups. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I can see that a lot of them, especially this girl, because she's back again now, $50 and $75. What kind of hoes y'all dealing with? And I bet you she ain't getting much more than that. You understand? I bet you. Oh, it's always talking slick. A real
Mm-hmm.
hoe is quiet. A real hoe, would never come
Mm-hmm.
in, popping off at the gums. A real hoe wouldn't come in bumping
Right.
her gums. So, now she's coming in, she's a bit, you can see she's a bit touched. You can see she's kind of slow, but
Mm.
nevertheless, this is one of the things why I say that the whole game and the sugar baby game is not for everybody.
Mm.
And a lot of women don't really know how to be hoes. There's
Shit.
certain rules and regulations. So from your perspective, I want you to talk about your perspective. What are the do's and don'ts? Because I've never been a pimp. You have. What are the
Mm.
do's and don'ts of being a hoe?
I ain't even talking. I'm leaving the pimp shit out of it, man.
You
I done
leaving the
left that
pimp shit
behind.
out of it.
Yeah, leaving the pimp shit out of it. I'm a trick, man. I don't
You're a
pimp.
trick.
So
Okay, you don't
yeah,
pimp.
we don't need no Me Too motherfuckers coming after me 10,
Oh,
15 years
well,
later.
you've had a couple of those, but they just hadn't had the money to pursue you. They haven't had the money to pursue you.
My days of breaking down the pimping is over.
Okay.
Mm.
Uh,
I talks about the tricking.
he talks about the tricking. Okay. Well, in any event, back to Miss Brown. Now, you said that she's laid up with this other gospel nigga now, this
Mm-hmm.
gospel rapper now, and it's what? It's not she's not fucking with a doctor. She's not fucking with a lawyer. She's not fucking with a square. She's fucking with a nigga that's wearing the standard uniform.
Right.
Braids, tattoos, wife beater, same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there's this argument that says, okay, well, y'all, the square guys or the straight guys, y'all are only checking for bitches like Cyntoia Brown. Why aren't you checking? And I don't want to use Stacey Abrams. That's a bad example. That's a bad example. Why aren't y'all checking for women like Jada Pinkett Smith? Let me use her. Why ain't y'all checking for the Jada Pinkett Smiths and not for the Cyntoia Browns?
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to that? Because I think it's the other way around. I think that usually those women are not checking for the squares until it's too late, until they get pregnant. But then there's the other side that says, okay, y'all don't really want the good girls or the square girls anyway. And I've had this comment. My thing is that all niggas want the square girls. All of them want the
Mm-hmm.
square girls. They just don't want them when they're sowing their wild oats. But they
Mm-hmm.
do want them later in life because the dudes that are fucking the Cyntoia Browns, they don't even want them.
Mm.
They don't even want the Cyntoia Browns. The only type of nigga and this nigga married her when she was in prison, by the way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So those dudes don't even want the Cyntoia Browns because they have nothing to offer them. Those dudes are actually looking for the Jada Pinkett Smiths. Those dudes are actually looking for the Cheryl James from Salt and Pepper. She's the light skin when she's the one that's kind of calm. That's the only reason I'm using her. Those guys are usually looking for the straight lace chicks. They wife those girls. They may smash the ratchets, but it's the good girl that gets married. But there's the narrative or there's the story that says, well, y'all are marrying the hoes. And
Mm.
I don't know if I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't know if that's the case wholeheartedly, but what is your take on that?
Oh my God, man. I don't see a lot of hoes getting wiped up. You know, my thing is coming up in the streets as well as middle class and upper class or middle upper class. You know, my wife, she's had pretty good slick jobs, working at banks, loan officer, all that shit, man. And we had money, we had bread, and all her friends. It just seems like no matter where I go with the so-called good girl, and this kind of goes against what Nicole Michelle's saying. When I worked in the prison, the females that worked in the prison, they wanted convict dick. You know what I'm saying? You had a whole bunch of cats who was square, who worked at the prison, but they didn't want the square dudes that worked at the prison. They wanted the convict dick. And when I was uh, married and I had my wife, and we had like middle class, upper middle class friends, female friends, they all wanted the convict dick. You know what I mean? But none of them really married them. You understand what I'm saying? The women didn't marry these guys. They was just, on call for dick. You know what I mean? So I give women a little bit more credit than most of these other cats out here. I don't think females pretty much want to marry these dudes. I think they have enough sense not to do that. But I don't see a lot of cats swerving good girls. I see a lot of dudes, as long as the body is tight and the face is cute, it's pretty much irrelevant, man, as far as um, her economic strata goes, man. You know what I mean? I don't know, because it all depends on how we define one being a good girl or a bad girl or a ratchet or a good girl or whatever, man. But I don't see a lot of brothers swerving good girls. If you're cute, you got to find, got a bubble ass, perky tits. And I don't think cats give a damn if you got a degree, you know what I mean, or don't have a degree. And I don't think cats give a damn if you at Waffle House or if you're McDonald's cooking the fries or whatever. If you're slick and you're cute, you can get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, after that, after you get to know a female, and regardless if she's in the hood or if she's in college or whatever, then it's up to you to make the determination if she's a ratchet or if she's a good girl and if she's worthy of marriage or whatever. But everybody has a different criteria of what a ratchet is or what a good girl is. You know what I mean? So I pretty
Right.
much don't really deal with these labels. You know what I mean? Because it's really subjective. What might
Right.
be ratchet to you may not be ratchet to me. What may be
Right.
a good girl to you may not be a good girl to me. You know what I mean? How
Right.
do we quantify? How do we define that, man? So that's pretty much all I got to say, on that issue.
Well, one thing is because you, from time to time, I'm gonna keep it 100. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you will catch, and I just sent her a link, by the way. Damn, hold on. I think I sent her. Hold on. I just sent her a link, by the way, so that she can, state her viewpoint. Because one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to misrepresent somebody's position. That's one thing
Mm-hmm.
because I hate when niggas do that to me. So
Okay.
I don't want to, misrepresent, her position or where she's at. But a lot of times what you do, a lot of times what we see, there are some dudes, some square dudes will get out here and they will get caught up with hoes. And what will happen, what I've noticed is that these are a lot of dudes that have, in some sense, they haven't had very much experience with women. Take and I'm gonna call his name. I don't mean no disrespect. I know we've clowned him, but take a dude like Sean James, right?
Mm-hmm.
You take a dude like Sean James and you put him in with somebody, let's say a Zaza Ali. What do you think would happen to a Sean James if he wound up with a Zaza Ali? Or hell, what do you think would happen to a Sean James if he wound up with a Cyntoia Brown, for that matter? We can use the present, case that we're talking about on this podcast. What do you think would happen to a Sean James if he was fucking around with a Cyntoia Brown?
You know what? To be honest, I don't think that Zaza or Cyntoia would really have a hope and a prayer against Sean James. Actually,
You don't think they would have a hope and a prayer against him?
no, I don't think they'd be able to basically manipulate him, man, because I think he's to the point. He's so socially awkward and inept that uh because all his knowledge from women comes from books. Now we can kind of shit on that if we want to, but most of the stuff that he's spitting is right and exact. So the fact that he's getting all this information from books doesn't really necessarily discount that he knows what he's talking about. I've listened to what he's saying, and for the most part, he's dead on with a lot of stuff that he's talking about. So if he was to run into a Zaza or run into a Cyntoia, to me, it would all depend on just how horny he is. And I don't know when the last time he's ever busted a nut, or if he has ever busted a nut. I think it would basically come down to that. You know what I mean? Just how worked up is he from never ever getting a shot of ass.
But that's my whole point, though, man.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, the shit is dynamic. It don't come out of a book.
Right.
They don't operate out of a book.
Right.
We're talking about predatory intelligence here. There's nothing here that says that they're going to go by a manual. This is purely predatory. They're going off of his emotions. This is psychology to a certain extent. So yeah, he may be right, but when you're dealing with somebody, it's a difference between what you read in a book and applying that shit in the field. Right. You know that. It's a difference between applying that shit under the gun and, you know, using it or getting it when it's theory. That's two different things. So if they would come to him, they wouldn't come to him like a floozy. You understand? They wouldn't come to him like a ratchet in the street. They wouldn't come to him like any other bitch off the block. They're going to come to him in a form that would be acceptable to him. They're going to put on the costume that would allow him to lower his defenses to let them in. Because you and I both know the most cunning bitches don't walk around with a sign on their back saying, I'm a shiesty bitch.
Right.
They don't come with identifiers. They don't come with red flags and markers. You have to be paying attention. If you're not paying attention, you will get got. One of the clearest signs that, you know, we've discussed, you and I have discussed, you said that, you know, when a bitch is a little too cooperative, that's a sign. That's a red flag for you, because you don't believe that there would be a woman that's that cooperative. But if he's in the books, he don't know that. That's not going to be in his books.
Right.
When they approach him, they're not going to come to him from that level. You know, temptation doesn't come to you temptation doesn't come to you in the form of consequences. In other words, you don't see the word shit first. You always see, you know, the shit that's the most adorable, the shit that's the most endearing and enticing and exhilarating. So, and that doesn't come out of a book. So if a woman like that ran up under a dude that is that inexperienced, she would fuck him up mentally. She would fuck him up mentally, because you said, well, it depends on where he is and it depends on how bad he busts a nut. Who says she's going to engage him right off on a sexual tip? Who says that she's going to come in being overtly seductive? Who said that she's not going to come in talking about comic books? Who says that she's not going to come in talking about cosplay? Seduction never takes a hideous form. It always takes a flattering form. It always takes that which is the most pleasing to do to you. So having said that, what do you think the most manipulative bitch would do to a dude? Let's not say Sean James. What do you think a very manipulative woman would do to a dude that doesn't have very much experience out here in these streets? Now, I know you can answer that question. You just being bashful, because I got one word for you: side trickster. Side trickster would have been gone a long time ago, dog. You know he would have been gone a long time ago, because you know that he doesn't understand. Although he is a well-to-do cat, he's established. You know not to leave him in the hands of a ice queen. You know not to
Mm-hmm.
leave him in the hands of a, what was her name, White Tina. You know not to leave her in his hands. You know what would happen if you left him alone.
Mm-hmm.
So you have experience. You do have some knowledge as to what would happen if a dude like that is left in the hands of a wretch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that a good
Oh
outcome?
no, not if we talking about just overall just him getting used. I mean, yeah, he gonna get used. You
But
know what I mean? And that covers all bases, all aspects of getting used. You know what I'm
but that
saying?
that that has been the point of a lot of women out here. A lot of women out here
Mm-hmm.
will say, well, why do the good guys always like the hoes? And
Mm-hmm.
my point is that the good guys that like the hoes are not the guys that have experience with hoes, or they have very little experience or limited experience with women. That's always been my point. That dude doesn't have the socially awkward dude doesn't have much experience with predators. He doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
much experience with women, so he doesn't know a predator when he sees one. That's my point. So I think that that's the reason that a lot of dudes end up with a lot of ratchet hoes.
Mm.
You know, she's back again. She said, break him for everything he has. Okay. I want to welcome Miss Nicole to the panel. I'm kind of checking out this chat room right now. Welcome to the panel. We got Nicole Michelle from Inner Beauty TV. Come on and say hi to the fans, or say hi to the chat room, and give us your viewpoint if you agree, disagree, whatever the case may be, and state your point.
Hello, fellas. How is everybody
Mm.
doing this afternoon? Hi, Big Mike. I
Howdy.
miss y'all. I've been listening to y'all. Y'all been cutting up to this afternoon. I did not follow Miss Brown's case like to the T. Because it's just been so much in the news that it's just no. But I just got the bullet points of her case, and what I can say is I don't condone murder. I don't condone any parts of her lifestyle, and I don't condone most of her decisions. What I will say is that the only case I was making in the chat was that I think we are hard on our kids and not hard enough on the parents. Yeah, there are bad apples, sure, but we're just not hard enough on these parents. I'm sorry. These babies, they come in the world behind the eight ball, the boys and the girls. And by the time that I've seen kids as little as 5, and you think, oh my God, they must have came out the womb just a dysfunctional child. And I yes, there are people's personalities that are just rebellious. Yes. But then there's also good and bad parenting, and the environment and how we raise our children. And a lot of focus does not go on the parents enough. And it's easy to blame the child. Um, it and I just think with Black girls, honestly, I think the public is really, 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 really just kind of just kind of hard on girls, and I know why. Because you see one video of Black girls jumping on a white dude, and then he gives her the 2-piece, and the girls are surrounding this dude. I think that was North Carolina somewhere, where you got these young Black girls at a mall surrounding this white dude, and he just gives them the 2-piece, right? You see them overly aggressive. Then you see other reports of them laying around and catching diseases, from a DJ. So I can understand why people get just kind of desensitized to Black girls' plight. But it's so many of them out here. It wouldn't even be in that situation if it wasn't for bad parenting. They have nowhere to go to get any type of feminine nurturing. Nobody's looking to their emotional well-being. And so by the time they get old enough to smell themselves, that's an outlet for them to carry out whatever psychological needs that need to be met. And I know that sounds like a scapegoat, and I know that sounds like I'm making excuses, but a lot of these promiscuous women out here, from the time they were barely out of diapers before somebody was trying to touch them. And no, they don't articulate that. What they articulate is they're not emotionally available. They're promiscuous. They can't pair bond. They end up being bad mothers. That's how it comes out. But we don't really, nobody stops to say what happened. They don't stop to get help because they don't think they need help. They don't know where to get help. And the same thing with the boys. They out here making babies everywhere on the corner. Not to say I'm preachy, but that's what I mean. And with Cyntoia, I just think there was a lot of Black men that just wanted to see her fry. And I'm like, that is just no compassion whatsoever. Just none. So, that's all.
Well, I totally agree with what you're saying, but as far as Cyntoia's case, so I'm taking it all case by case basis. I'm not making any blanket statements about how all Black girls need to fry. I'm just looking at the case, and she wasn't abused as a child. From what I'm seeing, she had a pretty good upbringing with her adoptive parents. So that doesn't apply. It's not applicable to Cyntoia in this case. But I fully understand what you're saying. Yeah, we do need to hold the parents accountable, but it does not apply in Cyntoia's case.
That's not normal for a girl to be tricking in her early teens. That's not normal.
No, it's not. But it doesn't have anything to do with her parents, though. Her parents, her adoptive parents, were good parents.
What's good?
And
I also think that normal, you have to look normal. I understand what you mean by normal. I get that. But in the Black community, it's not unheard of either. It's not unheard of for a lot of girls to be tricking or hoeing. That's the proper term because she was hoeing. It's not unheard of in the Black community for these women or for these young girls to be selling themselves at 14, 15, and 16. That's not something that's unheard of because we've had teen pregnancy for the last 30 years in the Black community. Now, it was shamed. It wasn't something that was promoted. It wasn't something that was championed. It wasn't something that was it wasn't something that is as acceptable as it is today. But it is not all that unheard of for a lot of these teenage girls to be selling their bodies because they're run like this girl. Cyntoia Brown was a runaway. That happens very, very regularly.
What made her run away, though? See, when we say come from a good home, we think two parents and they're all loving, and we think the whole Leave It to Beaver, Cosby Show. A lot of times you got relatives touching these girls. You got teachers touching these girls. It's so many things. They're not around their parents a whole bunch of time. And a lot of times they'll tell you, Uncle so-and-so touched me. Or it's just so much stuff, so much access that y'all just don't understand. You just don't. These girls are going through so much. I know, right? You don't want to hear that, but you want us to have compassion for Black men.
No. I'm not saying I don't want to hear it. I'm saying what you're talking about, that has not been fleshed out in her case. She's not saying that anyone in her family was touching her. I ran away from home when I was in high school and junior high, but I had a good home. Why? Because I did not want to follow the rules and regulations in the house. That's why I ran away. As simple as that. So could it not be that she was just hard-headed and she didn't want to follow the rules and she just ran away?
No, Mike, because you said yourself that there was a little bit of dysfunction.
No. I didn't say there's no dysfunction with the parents. In order for them to adopt her.
I'm talking about you, though. If you're inserting yourself as an example, you said you had a little dysfunction going on. So are you comparing your home style to hers?
As far as what? Dysfunction as far as what? With my childhood?
Mm-hmm.
What, with like going to school and having gang activity?
I mean, parenting. Like, did you have straight lines with mama, daddy?
I didn't have any problems.
Okay.
I didn't have any problems with my parents as far as them raising me. I mean, the only problem was me because I didn't want to listen because I was a teenager. That happens when you're a teenager. Now, if you talk about Cyntoia, there couldn't be nothing wrong with the parents because I don't know. Are you familiar with the adoption process? Are you familiar how they scrutinize the hell out of you before you can adopt? I mean, they want your fingerprint. They want to know your whole criminal background and history and all that. So the parents are squeaky clean. So I don't know where everybody's getting all this, venom for the parents. The parents were squeaky clean. Cyntoia was just off the hook. She just wanted to do what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it. And I'm not understanding why people just can't say, you just have some bad apples that act out every now and then. And that was her case. It don't have nothing to do with her parents.
So the question that was posed is, okay, is why did she run away from home? And nobody knows why she ran away from home. Nobody knows. The stories or the documentaries didn't talk about her life with her parents. Not
Nope.
that I'm familiar with.
No.
It didn't talk about
No.
the life with her parents. It just said she was a runaway.
Mm-hmm.
And she wound up with Cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I don't want to give I like to stay in the middle. I don't like to go either way, because I know there are some cases with some kids, they're just rebellious as fuck. They're not going to do what you say. They have to get out here and learn the hard way. You have some kids that are rebellious, but then you have some kids that are abused. So now the question is what bag does Cyntoia fit into? Nicole's position, or Nicole is saying that, look, what made her run away? And at this point, we don't know what made her run away. She didn't say she was abused. Do we naturally assume she was abused because she ran away? I mean, is that what you want us to say? Is that the position that you're taking here, that she ran away for a reason? There had to be something going on, so she
We'll
ran
never
away for a
know.
reason.
We'll never know. But what I will say to move this conversation along is that was my whole point in the chat, was that when it comes to Black girls, the venom is like straight hatred. And I hear it from Black males. I see it in the chat. It's just like this whole tense about, well, nobody cares about the Black boys, so we don't care about Cyntoia. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah, there are plenty of people that care about Black boys. I talk about Black boys all the time. I even want to do a panel about Black boys being molested. So it's sort of like there is no more compassion between Black men and Black women. It's almost frustrating. Like there is just no compassion whatsoever. And I'm not making the case for her, because I don't really know it all through and through to just be up here speaking for Cyntoia. Although she can secure the bag behind bars, and we have women that are free that can't. But the point I'm trying to make is that I mean, she back behind bars.
She got game.
Okay, listen. But all I'm saying is there is no compassion. That's what I want to speak to. Where's the compassion between Black men and Black women?
Well, I ain't got no problem with it. I got compassion. I take it on a case by case basis. If the information that's given, if it's fleshed out that she was put in a position where she didn't want to be in that position, and there was truly some predatory things going on here, then I'll rock with her. I'll be in her corner. But that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a female who basically did what she did and wanted to do it, and she didn't have no problem doing it until she got caught doing it. Now all of a sudden she's a victim, and I can't stand that shit. I'll never rock with that. But like I said, I look at the situation and I look at it on a case by case basis. If there's another female that's in a similar situation, but the evidence fleshes out that, yeah, she was indeed victimized and forced into something, then I got her back. But this is not the case with Cyntoia.
And more importantly, let me speak to this point too, if you don't mind, Mr. Maceo. The point that she's behind bars and can secure the bag. What does that say about Black men? He went to the prison to get a woman. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? Seriously? This kind of proves my point that y'all want bad girls. Literally. What say you?
I don't think anybody wants bad girls. I think this is a rare case. I don't think that this is, and I think that's the disconnect here, is because we're coming from one side of the track and you're coming from the other side of the track. We're out here in the mud, the blood, and the beer, as they say. We're out here in the gutter and we see things from the ground up. And I think that in a lot of instances, you're looking at the shit from the top down. and that's your perspective. And everybody sees life based upon their own experiences. I get that. Nothing wrong with that. But I also think that when you're dealing with our own situations, we have to look and we have to ask the question: is do our situations constitute the majority of what generally happens? And my argument is, if you're talking about good guys preferring bad girls, our experiences, and I'm sure possibly the experiences of most of the men and the women in this chat room right now, is that usually what happens is that no one prefers the so-called bad girl. Those girls are jump offs. That they're using those girls. That's a good time. Nobody's going out and wanting to cuff those girls. That was my point when I said that a lot of dudes that want those girls are dudes that don't have experience with women, because dudes that have some type of experience with women, they know that you don't marry that kind of woman. You sleep with her. You don't have children with her. You smash her. You do not put a ring on her finger. You do not stagger down the aisle with her.
Big Mike, can I ask you a question, Big Mike? Because you work in prison, and Chris Crawford brought up a good point that I didn't think about. How many dudes go to prison to get women versus the women? There's zero comparison, which I agree with. Until you give this answer, did women in prison come up pregnant at all?
Women
by guards?
Oh, you talking about the women that work there?
No. Well, I guess. Well, you didn't work in a woman's prison.
He didn't do a woman's prison. He was at a dude's prison.
But do you happen to know anything about those stats, though?
Oh yeah, shit. I worked in this shit for 10 years. Shit. So what happened with Cyntoia and this dude? That's an anomaly in the matrix. Typically, cats that's free don't marry women that's incarcerated. That typically does not happen. Now it happens all the time the other way around. Females who are free often marry cats that are incarcerated. I used to see that all the time. You know what I mean? So what happened between Cyntoia and this gospel rap cat, that's rare. I mean, I don't see too much of that as far as statistics wise, but I used to see it all the time as far as females coming up into the close max security prison, marrying these guys. The females that was actually working in the prison, yes, they were coming up pregnant by the convicts. There's something to be said for females that they just have this attraction to this raw animal magnetism of these cats that's locked up. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it. It's a testosterone thing. You know what I mean? It's got to be chemical and pheromones or something, man. But yeah, that's an anomaly. That stuff really don't happen too much when you got a cat that's free marrying a woman that's incarcerated.
Miss V wants to know what she doesn't understand. What's the draw?
What's the draw of what?
I don't know what she means by what's the draw. I don't understand what she means by that.
What's the draw, Miss V?
Well, I'll say this. Usually the women, I think there's a certain understanding here that's not being understood. Usually the dudes that are banging the ratchets or the hood rats, they know not to marry them, or they say they know not to marry them, but then they turn right around and get children by them. So you got those niggas that are running the pregnancy scam, and that's talked about at MacCity.com. Shameless plug, I know. Well, there's an article there that talks about the pregnancy hustle, where these niggas will knock these women up because they need a place to stay. They will knock these women up because they need 3 squares and clothes on their back. And yes, Miss Nicole, I will admit that that's dusty behavior. You don't have to drag that out of me. Okay? Yes, that's dusty behavior. So when a dude is doing that, it's a come up, it's a hustle. But when the women go after the niggas in the prison, and when the women are, sending their letters and accepting those phone calls that are $25 blocks, $25, $50, and $100 blocks for those collect calls to be made. When those women are sending those care packages, when those women are putting money on the books for them niggas, they're looking to, dare I say, get the bag. See, with the nigga, it's a hustle. But with the chick, she's actually trying to get the bag. The intentions are different. Do you understand what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
niggas are hustling. It's a dusty ass hustle. They find a cute little hood chick to cozy up to because they need the sponge off of her. They need to live off of her. And in exchange for doing that, they'll hit her with some nigga trinkets. They'll get her some shoes. They'll get her a purse. They'll get her,
Get her,
clothing,
take her to
expensive clothes.
JJ's.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
type shit. They'll get her expensive clothing. But one thing they don't want to do, they'll even knock her up, which is insanity. They'll even knock her up. But the one thing they will not do, generally, they will not marry that bitch. They absolutely will not marry her. But these
Oh
chicks that are
no.
going to the prison, these chicks that are going to the prison, these chicks that are putting money on their books, these chicks that are running around here talking about I'm wifey and I'm waiting till he touched down, they want that nigga to marry them.
Mr. Maceo, Mike, let me ask you this. Do you think, because both of you are military men, thanks for your service, do you think there are more women going after men in prison than they are going after or writing letters to men in the military?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
No
You
doubt.
damn right. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Wow.
These sisters love convicts, man. I done sat back and watched all sorts of crazy shit through the years. I'm like, damn, like this brother got it going on, man. He ain't never leaving the damn. It's a weird psychology of it, man. Because I have females who have confided in me and basically told me that they choose guys that's locked up because this is some weird ass nigga logic right here because they know that he won't cheat on her. I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Okay, well, number one, that's not true because he could go ahead and flip on the gay side, or if he got enough game, he could end up, screwing an employee. But then again, also, it's like, why would you care if he's cheating on you anyway? Because I mean, y'all don't really have a real relationship from the jump anyway. You know what I mean? So, but she out here doing what she want to do, but she talking about he better not be cheating. It's some weird
Man, I'll be like
psychology.
Karen Hill at the visitation with them babies, and she saw that the other hoe's name in the book. I'll be pulling stuff out of my bra and my coat. I'll be like, oh, I'm busting you right here and now. You got other hoes coming up here. Like, no. How you in jail cheating?
Well,
Mm.
I told this story. God bless the dead. I'll tell it again. God bless the dead. The late MC Breed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Breed was from Flint, Michigan. That was his home. Everybody knows that. Um, I'm in court. Breed stayed in jail. And I'm not throwing it, this is no shade. I'm not throwing no dirt, but I'm just telling it how it is. Breed stayed in jail. Now, what Breed stayed in jail for, he wasn't no hardcore criminal. Breed stayed in jail for child support. He was constantly in and out of the Genesee County Jail for child support. He lived in the Genesee County Jail for child support. And so I can remember he went in front of the judge. He was being arraigned in front of the judge on his child support warrant. And so what happened was the judge asked him, he was like, aren't you a rap star or something? He was like, yeah. He was like, what's your name? Breed. Breed is my name. How the hell you a rap star, Breed, and you got 75 grand in child support? What the hell is going on, Breed? Like, damn. And then what happened was I think he got out. The last time I saw him when I was bonding in the Genesee County Jail, I saw Breed. Breed wanted me to actually Breed wanted me to get him out of jail. Breed was trying to find a way for me to get him out of jail, but they don't do bonds on child support. He came up to me, he said, I like the way you do business. And I said, whatever. And what happened was, I think 2 weeks after that, I don't even think he got out of jail or he just got released. Breed died. If I'm not mistaken, I think he actually died in jail. And
Mm-hmm.
so they actually went to settle his estate. Going back to the point of whether or not they cheated. This goes back to Mack's point. They had to determine who his heirs were because he had a baby by a white girl in Ann Arbor, and he had a baby by a black woman in Atlanta. And so I think he had a son by the white girl and he had a daughter by the black woman. And so they were trying to determine the paternity of the kids so they can determine, what the children were going to get. He ain't have shit. So, that was a quick case. Well, what happened was they had to show that he was their father, that he acknowledged, because he wasn't married to the black girl in Georgia. So they had to show that he actually acknowledged the child. So what happened was the mother produced a letter that he had written to her talking about her and his daughter. And the white girl produced a letter that he wrote to her talking about their child. Do you know Breed had wrote both of these women simultaneously on the same damn day? Both of
Dusty.
those letters had
Just
the
dusty.
same date on them.
Mhm.
So to say that, when you ask the question, do they cheat behind? Do they? That ain't the question. The question is, how much do they cheat behind bars?
Dusty dudes will find a way.
So he had, and his daughter said, his daughter who was older, she was like, that's a damn shame. She was like, he wrote both of y'all on the same day. And a lot of dudes will say, and it's a joke, but a lot of dudes will say, if you want to get some pussy, go to prison. That's what a lot of dudes will say. If you want to be able to be at the top of a black woman's pecking order, and if you want to be at the top of the sexual food chain, catch a case and go to prison.
Now, when I put myself in a black man's shoes, a square dude, he's been doing everything right, and then he's been curved for some jailbird, I would be upset too. Or some thug, because those guys get the woman in her youth and her beauty and all that before she gets stretch marks and saggy breasts. He has her, and then by the time she, wises up, now all of a sudden she wants him to love her for her, and she wants the square guy to. I totally get that. I totally get why a lot of brothers are like up in arms about that. The flip side is that happens to square girls too. Because when a man been out there messing with them hood rat skanks, and then they want to come back and then mess with the good girls, they have trust problems. They, it's all about loyalties. They got a lot. They're emotionally unavailable. Gotta sleep with their wallet next to their chest because they think she gonna steal something. Like they really traumatized. Hello.
Well, I think she waiting on us to respond. Well,
Mike was like,
here's the thing.
I mean, but I mean, what you spitting, man? It's like, I can't disagree with it, but I'm not even in that boat because, like I said, I've had nothing but long-term relationships with square women. Once again, me and Tony go back to our creed. This is for entertainment purposes only. You know what I mean? Get you a hood chick, have you some fun, and leave her where you found her. Shoot.
But that's the thing, they don't. Like, they're still somehow connected to that lifestyle, those women, and that whole thing.
But and then that's what we disagree, because the thing is that the good guys, the guys that have had some experience, nobody wants those women. Not even the niggas that are fucking them want those women.
So this is why I tell the women of my movement, you be his every woman. Well, I tell the Future Wives Club to be his every woman. He want ratchet, give him ratchet. He want a nurse, dress up like nursey nurse. Be his fantasy. Does that even work though?
Well,
because if he deep down wants that.
Here's the thing though. A lot of dudes may desire that. We date like children. I'll say that. That's another thing. We date like children. We have we speak like children. We think like children. We walk like children. We act like children. We fuck like children. So to your point, there may be some of that going on. But again, those dudes that have had experiences, with those type of women know that that's not a woman you marry. You don't marry that girl.
Chris, I disagree with you. Because he said, let me see. Oh, no, Billy Jap, the square girl. No, wait, hold on. the good girls want the same type of dudes the ratchets want. No, they don't. No, they don't. By definition, if she wants a thug, she's not a good girl. Hello, by definition.
But here's the thing though, Nicole. They have all the trappings of a good girl. That's what he's talking about. What they have is it was what we talked about on our last podcast, right? We talked about the girl that's in corporate America. The girl that's in corporate America making, let's say, 75, or let me stop using that number.
Let's be realistic. She
Let's
makes
be
about
realistic.
35, 40 grand.
Well, no, well, I've seen they're making a little bit more than that.
Okay.
But I've seen ones that have been making, let's just say, over $50,000, right? They're making over $50,000. And they're in this environment. They don't have children. They're by themselves. And then you look at what kind of nigga is on their arm. It is not a nigga like me or Mac that's on their arm.
She's not a good girl.
But
not,
wait a minute. But you're
though.
you're saying she's not a good girl based on who she's screwing, right? Well, if you say that, then you can't say that she's not a good girl and then say, well, you can't understand why dudes are messing with these women, because these women are plentiful out here. See, what I've been trying to say to the so-called good girls is that really, if you're talking about good, you're kind of an anomaly. You aren't represented very much out here. There's more of them than there are of you. The ones that are masquerading as good and the ones that are saying that they're good are the ones hooked up with.
I disagree.
Duracell and Man.
We don't have the women that'll make good wives and mothers for homes, or don't have all the bells and trappings of hoes. We don't have weave down our back. We're not with Fashion Nova where you can see our ovaries and our skirt. We don't operate like that.
You don't have to
be as bougie as me, but they're not. We
That's not the point. I'm not saying how they're dressed. My point doesn't go to how they're dressed. My point is who they're sleeping with.
Okay.
My point is who they're preferring.
But
so what I've seen is this. What they will do is this. They become day traders. They become sexual day traders. So what they'll do is they'll get a good dude to be an emotional tampon. He's there to suck up all the blood and the residue from the nigga that's done them wrong, right?
Right.
But then they got this other nigga over here beating the hairs off they pussy. He beating them lips until they're purple. And that's the dude that is getting, that is the dude that is getting the respect. But they get this dude to stick up in their coochie and they bleed all over him. Oh, he did me so dirty.
Then she's not a good girl. She's not a good girl. She has an appearance of one.
No, but by what your measuring stick, you're saying based up on who they're screwing, Nicole. I'm talking about everything that they're judged up on, because they do excel. They do get ahead. They are achievers. They are studious. But when it comes to what knob they want up in that slot, it's always a nigga that ain't about shit. Now, what I've seen, what they will do is this. What they'll do is they'll use those niggas for dicks. They become walking dildos. That nigga becomes a walking dildo. Will they take him out in public? Will they take him to office parties, functions, and get-togethers? Absolutely not. They will absolutely not be seen with that guy at an office party. Then that's when they go and get the other guy. That's when they go get the plan B, the backup nigga, and they take him to the office party to make all the other hoes in attendance jealous, to say, see what I got? I have a nice guy. I have a good dude. But then what will happen is they will drop that dude, or that dude will go back home with blue balls, with his dick on hard, will go back home by himself with a hard pipe, and she will drop him off at his house and then go fuck that nigga who's been beating the walls in on her pussy the entire time. I've actually seen this. So, and some dudes will turn around and they'll say, well, look, these women controlling these thugs. That's not true. These women are not controlling these dudes. These women do whatever these niggas say. These niggas break these women down until they cannot be broken anymore. These dudes break these women down to the point of destruction. You want to know why me and Mike get off the shit we get off? You want to know why we get away with the shit we get away with? Because the niggas that they're fucking with, the niggas that they prefer, the niggas that they put at the top of the food chain over guys like us. Totally wreck those hoes. I mean, demolition. I'm talking about complete demolition, complete with dynamite, explosives, all that shit. Break them hoes down to the very last brick. So anything other than that nigga, represents stability. So they'll go for the fundamentals because with that nigga, they ain't even getting that. So the idea that they're controlling these niggas, it's simply not true. It's simply not true. But if you're talking about, do these women fuck with these dudes? They absolutely fuck with these dudes. They may not have weave in their hair. They may not have weave in their hair. They may not have tattoos, but they like that dick just as well as the good dudes like ratchet pussy. It's the same difference. The only difference is that anybody with any common sense will know not to marry that ratchet. The only person that's going to marry that ratchet is a person who has never had that ratchet. Most of the conversation that is taking place in YouTube space is about ratchets. It's not about the middle class girl, no matter what they tell you. It's not about Brittany playing volleyball for Yale with the 3.8 GPA. No, it's about the average bitch in the hood. And those are dudes that have never been next to or had the opportunity to partake about bitches in the hood. But when it comes down to long-term residuals, when it comes down to long-term consequences, outcomes, and repercussions, they're going to pick that good girl every time, even if she looks like Stacey Abrams, because Stacey Abrams going to pay like she weigh, and that's a fat ass check.
Okay,
yeah,
counselor.
buddy.
Okay, counselor. I hear what you're saying, but by definition, if she's laying up with a thug, she's not a good girl. Because let me tell you something. When me and my dude got together, he had some trust issues, and I made sure I let him know I'm here at this time. You can call me. I'm picking up. If I didn't pick up, I gave an explanation. Like, because I wanted him to know that when I say I'm a good girl, there is no Nicole sneaking a thug up here. That's why she didn't answer her phone from Friday night all the way to Sunday morning. No. You can reach me anytime. No, when I say I'm a good girl, I'm a good girl. What I'm saying to you is they have the bells and whistles. You think she's a good girl because she works at a law firm, because she put on a dress, because her hair is laid and her butt is big. She's a good girl because she don't wear Fashion Nova and she doesn't have pink hair and she doesn't like Cardi B. That makes her a good girl. No, they're called smart hoes. They know how to finagle you fellas because they know you're going to get caught up in her butt cheeks. So they fake it. A real girl, a real good girl is what I teach the women in my movement to do. You are a good girl. When you say you're a good girl, you have to back that up. You can't be out here duplicitous. So no, if she's sleeping with a thug, if she's running around with you, Mr. 75, and she got a little thug nigga at the house, she is not a good woman. She's a good lay, but she ain't a good woman, because a good woman is going to back it up all the way around 360. She's going to back it up. That's why you marry her, because she can back it up. So no, I'm not letting y'all fellas off the hook when you say, oh, well, she tricked me. No, and then I look at her and I'm like, oh, because she got a booty like Meg the Stallion. That's what you didn't even get into her mindset. She talking like a black feminist. She doesn't even respect you. She doesn't call you back. She's inconsistent. She's smiling at your friend behind your back. Y'all get caught up in the booty. I just want y'all to admit it. You get caught up in the booty, and then it's because I don't have a lot of experience with women. Come on, y'all don't let sisters get away with that. Because when she comes with a baby, and then she's like, "Well, I just didn't know. I didn't know, and it takes two to make a baby." Y'all give her the business. I've seen y'all.
No. You got that backwards. We don't do that on this channel.
Okay, well, not y'all.
We don't do that on this channel.
Let me talk to the chat then, because they do.
Here's the thing. I think that anybody can make them. I think that it goes the same for both sides. Matter of fact, that's why these thug niggas will set up on a square girl, because they don't have that experience. I did a panel. I think I did a hangout on your channel I did a hangout on your channel, and there was a young
Oh
lady
yeah,
on that
100
channel,
pounds.
you know, that was on there talking about what every dude she sat in front of, you know, she had to go extra hard in the paint and be extra pro black, not to be white. So, okay, what dude are you sitting in front of that you got to put that act on? You see, what dude that you have to appear extra pro black so that he doesn't take you as a white girl by
They are not.
definition?
Oh my God, the chat. Are y'all slow in the chat? I just said if she's screwing a thug, she is not a good woman by definition. A good woman does not sleep with a thug. She sees he ain't about nothing. She is not going to part her legs for a thug. Oh my God. I need y'all to get off. Hey. We pulling up to the stop. Get off the slow bus. Come on. Let me hold your hand. Let me take your lunchbox. Let me get off the slow bus. I said if she sleeps with a thug, she is not a good woman. I have always said that from the beginning of my channel. Y'all got, I don't know, were y'all all raised in the hood? Like all y'all? Like seriously. I'm literally saying if she sleeps with a thug, she is not a good woman. Oh my
Well,
God.
the thing is, what we don't want to admit, Miss Nicole, is that the hood has become the common experience. It is not the consummate definition of blackness. I don't want to say that. The hood is not the consummate definition of blackness, because blackness is excellence. Okay. So the hood is filled with failure. So I don't want to misrepresent that and say that that's the standard definition of blackness, but a lot of black people are having hood experiences,
They are
is what it
picking
is.
based on looks, just like Bet's blog said, looks first and personality ignored.
I
When
agree.
you
I
when
agree. They are picking based on looks, and that goes to, well, that goes back to your wheelhouse, because I'm quite sure you are familiar with women that are good women, but they don't have this little thing called sex appeal. It's just like when
I try to help them out with that
sex
too.
appeal. This other guy in here, it's another guy. I think his name is Walt O100. I think that's what his name is. He made that point earlier about the dudes. He said the very educated brothers just aren't very sexy. Just
Chris
aren't,
Crawford.
you
Chris
know.
Crawford, yes. It thug, cute hobo, any of that. By definition, if she's sleeping with a man that's going to put her at a disadvantage, she's not a good woman. She has good attributes. There are good things about her. But has she reached that level? No, because a good woman is going to be a good woman 360. He's going to see that right off. Well, he won't trust it right off the bat, because he's gonna be like, wait, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. My man literally was waiting for the other shoe to drop. This is too good to be true. I'm waiting for the other shoe. And I could hear it. He wouldn't say it, but I could tell. And that's why I went above and beyond. You can call me anytime. If I don't text, I'm probably doing something. I'll text you right back, or I'll call you right back. We can spend time together. It was never an issue, because he had issues with that, right? Because he was thinking just like y'all in the chat. Well, because she looked this way and she talked this way, she was a good girl. Then I had to show him, no, good girls are gonna prove we good girls. We're not just saying it. We don't just look a certain way. No, we're going to back it up with our actions and our mentality. That's what I'm talking about. And maybe y'all been messing with hood rats all your life, but when you come across a good woman, at first you're gonna think, wait a minute, I'm being punked. This ain't right. No. She can't be the real deal. No. And you might even test her with some BS, and she's going to pass the test because she's really a good girl. When you mature, when y'all young bucks in this chat, when y'all actually mature and you're not judging a woman on her behind and her breast and her weave, when you actually start trying to get to know a woman, the good girls would just, it's gonna be easier to like differentiate the good and the bad. It's just gonna be hard to find her, but when you do find her, you're gonna know, yeah, something different about this one.
Well, again, that Doug says a cut buddy doesn't have to be a thug. You're right. Cut buddy doesn't have to be a thug, but usually 9 times out of 10, it's a nigga that's a thug. So no, it doesn't have to be, not in every case, but usually it is a thug nigga involved. But again, going back to what Walt said, he said that a lot of those dudes, a lot of the very educated dudes, the collegiate dudes, he said that they're just not sexy. And I think that that's a legitimate issue too. See, I don't leave that out. There are some dudes
That's
that
an
are just
excuse.
no, that's not an excuse. I
That's
do
an
think
excuse.
no, I think that some women are not attracted. Hear me out. I think that some women are not, just like there's some women that don't have sex appeal. I think there are dudes out there that don't have sex appeal. I think that cuts both ways. I think that's why they a lot of times don't attract the women that they should have. I don't think that they have the sex appeal to attract the women that they want.
No,
You know.
because the nerdy girls, and y'all didn't see my panel the other day when those
Hmm.
women, none of them was ugly. So what happens is they don't have the bells and whistles of a hoe. They're not walking around with their boobs out. They're not advertising that they got a fatty. Is that what y'all call it? A fatty? They not advertising. They got on sweats and sandals because they going to class. They got glasses on. They don't have their face made up to go to class. They not all over on Instagram. They just chilling. They just in the world moving. And they not caught up in trying to get attention like the other girls. So you think because she's not made up, because she doesn't have on a ton of weave, she just threw her hoodie on to walk to class. You not even get. Let me give you case in point. When I was in high school, I worked on the junior class council and senior class council. Shout out to my school; they're having a reunion this weekend. When I worked on the class council, the girls that showed up at the proms every day, they came with jeans and sandals. Well, we couldn't wear sandals back then, but they come to school with sneakers on and jeans and t-shirts and hoodies. And when they showed up at the prom, you couldn't even recognize them. Hair laid, gown. I mean, just beautiful. What I'm saying is the good girls don't come with the bells and whistles a lot of times. Maybe they just average. Maybe they just throw on a skirt and some heels, and they don't really do all the whole glamour shots that these other women who are seeking attention do. So guys get confused because that's what they used to. They see Instagram models all day, they on social media all day, so they see the most. So when you see a girl that has rocking her real hair, no real makeup, she just moving along, she not trying to get attention, you think she ain't attractive. But I guarantee you if you treat her right and give her a shot with you, she'll make you more happy. And I ain't talking about just relationship happy. I'm talking about in the bedroom.
But I think that in a way, back to what I said earlier, that also kind of from what I've observed that but you would say that those are not good women though. So we've reached an impasse in this discussion because you would say if she slept with a thug, that wouldn't make her a good girl. But I know a hell of a lot of girls that that look like what you just described, that are with Duracell, that are with Man, that is with Nuck, that
Right.
is
And
with
she's not a
Dre.
good girl. Right. Because you're focusing on the outer parts.
No, I'm not talking about the outer parts. This is a very common and plain looking girl,
Then she's
and she is
disqualify herself,
she.
Tony.
So she's disqualified. This
Yes.
plain girl, the
Yes.
girl that you just described, that doesn't have the bells and accoutrements because she's fucking with Duracell, that
She still
makes
has
her
to qualify to be a good girl. She
okay.
still
So
has to
what? So
qualify.
what you're
Yes.
saying? The deal breaker is that if she fucks with Duracell, that's the deal breaker.
The deal, that's one of it. She has character flaws that disqualify for her being good. Does she steal? Does she lie? Does
No,
she
no,
cheat?
but these women that you talk, they don't do any of that shit. They just mess around with Duracell, and my man NBA said Lil Daquan. They just mess around with Lil Daquan and Duracell.
There's a
There's nothing
character
else about her
flaw.
character.
There's a
So
character flaw for her to put herself at a disadvantage to
mhm.
mess with a man who has nothing to offer her, who is essentially going to do more harm to her than good. She thinks she's good. She has a lot of character traits that are good, but by definition, if she's messing with somebody that's going to do her harm, she's not good. She's not all the way good. She ain't there yet. She's
Hey.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Check it out. I got a dinner date, man. I got to bounce, man. So I appreciate everybody coming through on the chat, man. Appreciate chopping up with Nicole, with my boy Tony. So I'm about to bounce, man. Before I go, I like to say y'all can check me out at www.patreon.com/ what was it / I can't remember. Max City Limits. If you want receipts on how brother used to get down, you'll find it all there. Once again, www.patreon.com/Max City Limits. Once again, 2-hour joint, man. Once again, it's been a pleasure, and I'm out.
Big Mike. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So again, if we're talking about, those girls, you would say sleeping with those cats would automatically, it's an automatic deal breaker. Is that what you're saying as far as them being good girls? That would be an automatic deal breaker.
Yeah, they're not there yet.
All right.
No, and in the same with the guys.
Okay. Well, hold on. We're going to get back to that. Shout out to my partner that just left, Fat Mack. Go over, become a patron, Max City Limits podcast on Patreon, maxcity.com, the channel, Max City on YouTube, the channel, the Patreon, and so forth and so on, because, we do a lot of stuff over there. We'll probably do another podcast over there sometime soon. Shout out to the Fat Mack. This nigga probably stood me up for a ratchet. This nigga
Mike
dipped on me.
probably so.
This nigga dipped on me and I ain't mad at him. Go out there and get them chickens. Go out there and get them chickens. Go out there and get them ratchets. I ain't mad at him. Doing what he got to do. He's living in his truth. It is what it is. But somebody asked the question. They said, Nicole, what's the percentage of good girls you think that are out there that are actually good?
Oh, I would say about 20 to 30%.
Okay, so if 20 to 30% of the girls are good, then you would have to say then most of them are not good, right?
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you expect the guys that are, let's say, competent men. Let's not use the word good. Let's use the word competent.
Thank you.
You would expect competent men to weed through 80% of the women just to find, and this is just for short-term sex, just to get a nut off. You want them to weed through 80%, because I would argue if it's short-term, he shouldn't be messing with the good girl anyway, right?
Right.
Because the good girl is not about short-term sex, right?
Exactly.
The good girl is about the bag, right?
There you go.
Okay, but then you can't turn around and disparage the square guy if he has short-term interest. You can't pursue short-term interest with a long-term bag.
But I'm not. We were
but when you talk about these guys are with ratchets, that's what I've been telling you. These guys that are with these ratchets, they're not with these ratchets to marry them. It's a short-term thing. That guy isn't supposed to be with the good girl. That guy isn't supposed to be with the woman that want to secure the bag.
Okay, so let me go ahead and say it. When a guy's in his dog stage, his dog phase, when he's just out there getting it in, he's not good. Nope, he ain't.
Okay.
He has good traits.
But he's not good.
But he ain't good. By a woman's definition, no, he ain't good. Because what can he do for her? He just wants sex. There you go.
Well, I would say the same thing. There are some women out there. I don't believe in this concept that women have to be. I think it would be a good idea if women were chaste and pure until they're married, but that's not practical. You and I both know that that's not pragmatic. We both know that that's not going to happen.
Right.
So if I just like those guys that are out there going through their dog stage, I think the women should be able to go through their dog stage and not be judged for it. But my thing is,
y'all know y'all too judgmental. Black men are too judgmental.
No. My thing is, just don't get pregnant. My thing is, you do what you do, but do not come up pregnant, because when you come up pregnant, it's a wrap.
Doesn't matter.
When you come up pregnant, it's a wrap.
Doesn't matter. If a woman says,
doesn't matter?
No. We just had this discussion in my chat the other day where a woman was like, should I tell him? He keeps asking me how many people I done slept with. She has no children. She's in it physically. She's everything he wants. She has no children, but he tripping on how many people she done slept with. A black woman's sexuality is very unforgiving with black men. So even if she has kids, she wrong. If she don't have kids, then he want to know how many people she slept with. So it's really nice for y'all to say, oh, y'all go out there and do you. I understand this is no judgment zone.
Just don't get pregnant.
Yes, it is.
No, just don't get. But here's the thing, though. you say that, but I see the hypocrisy of it. See, I'll call the hypocrisy on it, but you haven't recognized it. You say that dudes will be judgmental, and they will be, but that girl's inboxes will be full of judgmental niggas. The same niggas that are calling her a thought, the same niggas that are calling her skeezer. I'm bringing back the word skeezer from the 80s. The same dudes that will be talking about a high body count, the same dudes that'll be talking about the number of dicks that she has been double clutching. Those are the same niggas that will be in her inbox.
Okay, yeah, you're
So
right.
that's why I don't pay that shit any mind. I know what these dudes are talking about when they're talking about women with high body counts. What they mean is they're not among the number that can be counted. That's what they mean. That's what they're saying. I'm not one of the ones in that box. I'm not among the number that she can
Oh,
count.
she didn't let me hit yet.
She didn't let me hit yet. That's right.
Okay.
She didn't let me hit yet. I'll call out the hypocrisy, because you can't on one hand tell me, because they'll tell you they want a woman that is sexually liberated. They want a woman that performs like a porn star in the bed. And my thing is, well, how in the hell you think she got that way?
First of all,
How in the hell you think she got that way? She had to get that way by going through some dicks.
I'm
She
not
had
trying
to
to.
get that way by having sexual experience. She had threesomes. She had threesomes. She done been gang bang. She done been with other bitches. How do you think she gained all that knowledge about how to suck a dick? How do you think she knows how to jiggle a ball, jiggle both your balls with one side of her tongue? She's ambidextrous on both sides of her tongues.
Oh my
On
God,
both sides of her
Max,
tongue.
yo.
How do you think that she got that way? How do you think she got that skill? She didn't get that skill by being chaste and pure. She got that. She got that good by getting down in the dirt, and I can't be mad at her for that.
Yes, but a lot of men, especially in these spaces, they are very, very judgmental of women, and so that's the breakdown of it.
Well,
So
it's one here now saying, "Hey, but no man wants a known hoe, but a man will sleep with a known hoe. A man will sleep with a known hoe. They do it all the time." What was the lady's name? I think her name was Mae West. Mae West said that men love women with a history because they hope that, excuse me, they love women with a past because they hope that history will repeat itself.
let me throw
So
some
that
out here. Let me throw some out here that's real crazy. That's gonna mess up somebody's mind on this Saturday evening. First of all, especially when y'all go and date non-black women, their body count is higher than some sisters' body counts. Keep it real. That's why they slumming with y'all. I just want to let y'all know, because I went to college with them. And let me tell you, they get down. They get down. They get down. So if y'all blaming sisters for high body counts, it's a woman thing. It's just a hookup culture thing. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what I chalk it up to. Just just find somebody that you mesh with, that y'all get along with, and just, because some of the stuff y'all get hung up on is like, it's y'all insecurities. Y'all can't move forward. But when y'all get with a non-black woman, all of a sudden that goes out the window. That's no longer an issue. But with sisters, it's like, God, she gotta be just popped out of heaven. Like God just parted the clouds and dropped her down in front of you. Like, come on, dude.
Well, they'll say that the thing is, because the Foxhole Reborn, I think that's his name. He's saying, well, no man wants to marry a known hoe. It's men out there married to women that don't know what their past was. It's men out there married to women that if they knew what their woman did, they would not have married them. But I tell you, it wouldn't have stopped them from sleeping with them. And see, the problem is you'll say, well, don't marry them, but they sleep with them and produce children.
See, the thing
So
is,
my thing is, if you're not gonna marry them, if we're against hoes, we're against hoes. Let's just
no,
be
because
against hoes.
no. See, I like it when you said about the hypocrisy, because I agree with you. Because everybody's cool with the hookup culture when you in it, right?
Mhm.
But when you get
Right.
out of it, then you want to look for this virginal woman. Come on, man. You either in the hookup culture is the hookup culture. That means you ain't the only one in it. That means a lot of people are in the hookup culture.
So the
So
hookup, what you're saying is the hookup culture means hoes. It means thoughts.
By definition,
By
yes.
definition, it means
Yes.
holes,
The
thoughts,
same
jump
men
off.
who are getting it in tonight with a hoe will next Wednesday be like, I want a wife. And so they'll go out. Who you been messing with? How many people did you sleep with? Oh, you're a hoe. I can't marry you. So he'll just go after woman after woman after woman. She slept with 6. She slept with 8. She slept with 30. Oh my God, these women are hoes. And I'm just like, but you've been in the hookup culture for 20 years. You think these women are not in the hookup culture with you? See, that's what I say when I preach on my soapbox on my channel about the hookup culture, because it affects everything. So when you come out and you actually trying to build a family with, guess what? You got to deal with other folks that are coming out of the hookup culture. There ain't nobody coming out spotless.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't understand. And I know women have been saying this for the longest. It's a double standard. It's a double standard. It's a double standard. And to talk about, and here's what we don't talk about when we talk about white women, because this needs to be said. I just got to come out and say it, that black men will think that there's going to be, niggas will think that there's going to be some type of paradise when they jump the rope or they go find women of other colors. But when they go and find women of other colors, they find women that are comparable to the same women that they would be with if they dated within Black America. So in other words, if you pull in a 6 out the hood, when you leave the hood, unless you have some money, of course, there are certain exceptions. Unless you have some money, when you cross that line and you go marry, when you cross that line, when you go and date and marry a person of another color, you just go marry a white 6. You just go marry a brown 6.
Oh, more importantly,
you just go marry a red 6. You just go marry a yellow 6. You don't get any unless you have some money. For the most part, you don't go pull no smoking chick. Don't act as though you're going to find this white 10, because let me tell y'all something. The most attractive white women, they're also cutting for the thug niggas, but y'all don't want to hear that. They want that stereotype, that culture of that cuck and bull culture, bringing niggas in as a fetish just to be walking penises and to be, quote unquote, big black cocks. That's real big in the alternative sex community. That's real big. These attractive white women that are married, they will go and get them a Walmart Tavius. They will go and get them a Duracell and Man, because they want that black buck experience. So don't think that they're desirous of you. In other words, a woman that looks like Sarah Lee, not Sarah, I think is her name Sarah Lee? Sarah J. And don't ask me why I know her. She's a porn star. Don't ask me why I know her. Don't ask me why. It ain't important.
Oh God,
a woman that looks like Sarah J. is not going to go get Emmanuel Lewis from Webster. Sarah J. is not going to fuck Emmanuel Lewis. Sarah J. is not going to fuck Gary Coleman. Hell, Sarah J. is not even going to fuck Todd Bridges. If Sarah J. gonna go get her a nigga, Sarah J. gonna go get her a nigga that looks exactly like Ghost from Power. That's the nigga she gonna fuck with.
I mean, that's the smart move.
So these niggas that think that it's just this pot of gold, that these other women are a pot of gold, and I'm not telling you not to go. You go wherever you're loved and celebrated. I'm not telling you.
Well. Let's stop right there, Mr. Maceo.
No. I have to say that. Okay. I'm not saying stay within. Go wherever you're celebrated, but don't be deceived about what you're doing.
Well, that's the thing, because see, there's this whole conversation that non-Black women are better. Let me give you case in point. Mr. Seal and Miss Heidi Klum. Okay, I know what Seal look like, and you know what Heidi Klum is. If you don't, go Google them, right? Let me say she was a top model in the world, was pregnant by a dude, got left. She was in essence a baby mama. But because she was white and high class, that was a different type of baby mama, right? So Seal marries her, and we all know how that story ended. Y'all go Google it. It's real interesting. It's amazing how Black men never bring that story up. But let me flip it to you. Nia Long, who every Black man I've known ever has always had a crush on Nia Long. You've had a crush on Nia Long, right, Macy? Everybody had a crush on
I did. I did.
Everybody had a crush on Nia Long. How many times has she been a baby mama? How many times has she had a ring on her finger?
I think she got 2 kids, doesn't she?
She got 2.
Yeah.
So my point is, when it's a Black woman, she's the scum of the earth.
Nia
She's not
Long's not
good
the scum of
enough.
the earth. No, she's not. Nia Long's not scum of the earth.
Okay, but the
They
point
make
I'm
rap
trying to
songs about her. Nia Long in a cherry thong with the lights on. Uchi
okay,
Wally, remember that? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
okay, but you get my point though.
Right.
Yeah, she's a cult classic, like Pam Grier, right? Okay, okay. So, to black men, that's what she was, but they never put a ring on it. But Heidi Klum, a baby mama carrying another man's child in her stomach at the time she wed Seal, that was different. And you see how that story ended out. That's what I'm talking about. We can't keep uplifting other groups over our people because we all grimy. It's not just black women are grimy. It's not just black men are grimy. That's the narrative they want us to do. They've been playing these Jedi mind tricks since
Well,
slavery on us to hate each other.
but that's been my thing as well. My thing is like, okay, they seem to think that that these Beckys are going to be a pot of gold, and it's like no. And then they'll say, well, white women are different, or they'll say I'm married to uh, uh, a white woman who I'm married to a white woman, and like I'm like, okay, if you're married to a white woman, why are you on here bitching about black women? If you're married to a white woman,
Because they want to creep with a sister.
you know,
That's the
well,
truth. They want to
ha,
creep with a sister.
well, you know, that's my thing. Okay, so if you wanted to creep with a sister, are you really satisfied with the white woman? That goes back to my point earlier. A lot of dudes think that, or they're promoting the idea that when they dated outside the race, or when they went and fucked a white girl, or they married a white girl, or whatever, that they went and married, this white girl that's like porn star material. No, you got a girl that's equal to you in another race.
She didn't come from a wealthy family.
She
She
didn't come
ain't
from
she ain't no
exactly.
supermodel. So just cut it out. And I was observing, because a lot of times I'm observing other channels, but I don't say anything. I was observing this other channel, and it was funny because a guy jumped on the panel cussing this girl out about. She was up here just describing what was going on with her non-black husband and how he's on the police force and how they treat him weird when he doesn't mistreat black people. And so she was just describing it. And because she wasn't dogging him out, this person jumped on the panel, commenced to cussing her out. And I said, now, wait a minute. Now, this is weird because I remember recalling seeing him on another channel uplifting white women. But he had this girl's head. I mean, he called her every time. You bad wench, you saw. I mean, he cussed her up one side and down the other. And I mean, she had never said nothing disrespectful. I mean, all bad wenches take shots. So there was nothing like that, but it was nothing personal. It was just her describing her husband and and he cussed her out one side. So I said that to say this. Can we just stop acting like black men don't want the first right of refusal with black women, and black women don't want the first right of refusal with black men? We want to be able to dish y'all first before y'all go to Becky, and y'all want to be able to diss us first before you know what I'm saying.
They want to be able to dish you first before you go fuck Duracell.
Right.
That's what they want.
Well,
They want to
before
be
we go mess with Chad or
well,
Brad. Yeah.
but the dudes on YouTube ain't mad at Chad for the most part. The dudes on YouTube that I hear on YouTube are mad, not that you're messing with Chad. They're mad that you're messing with Duracell. They're upset that you're messing with, the
It's
nigga
both.
Two
It's both.
Strike Timmy.
This guy
They
literally
do not
wanted
like
to
the
come to
fact
the
that
channel.
Two Strike Timmy is ahead of them in line. The song from what was the song from Brown Sugar? The hoe is mine. I'm first in
Oh my
line. That
God.
shit. They're mad, that they don't get the chance to fuck bitch you before he does. Because a lot of these dudes that are talking that shit, they don't want marriage. A lot of the dudes that have all this criticism, they don't want marriage. They don't want to marry you.
They're actually broke dusties.
They want to fuck
honest.
bitch you.
Right.
What they want to do, they want to fuck bitch you. You've heard the term fuck boy, but no one has brought up the term fuck bitch.
Yeah, what does that mean, Maceo?
Fuck bitch is another way of saying smash and dash. It's another way of saying pump and dump.
Mm.
That's all it is. Fuck bitch is another way of saying, look, I'm gonna smash you with no consequences. Don't call me, I won't call you. Or when I call you, you come running and let me fuck bitch you again and dip and be gone before the sun comes up. Just somebody, just a
So
nice
a
little
booty
thought,
call. So a
a
booty
booty
call.
call, but it's
Okay.
deeper than that
A
because
jump
they
off.
a jump off. They want a thought that they can, get all their little nasty desires out on. And I'm not mad at them for doing it. I understand where they're coming from, but the thing is if you're gonna do that, you have to understand that those women have sexual desires too of who they want to do that with them. In other words, no bitch ain't gonna let no bitch that's really attractive and is not gonna let the late Hervé Villechaize nut in their face. You know who Hervé Villechaize was?
Yes. The blend. The
Yeah, the
blend.
plane. Yeah, they're not gonna let him do that unless he has some money. They're not just gonna let some broke nigga making $12 an hour who's unattractive bust a load in their grill just because he has sexual desires of treating them like a fuck bitch. No, she want the nigga that's hot. She want the nigga that look like ghosts on the block to do that.
That's the hookup culture.
You don't qualify that. And Dollar Will said, Dollar Will, that's excellent. Dollar Will, that's right on time. Dollar Will said, that's what tricking is for. And that's all I've been saying.
Oh my
Thank you,
God.
Dollar Will.
Oh my
Slow,
God.
yes, Dollar Will. Yes, my brother, my mutant brother, Dollar Will. Thank you. You right on time with that. That's what tricking is for. The unattractive or non-select guy that needs to get his fuck bitch on. He has to pay his non-select tax. The tricking, when you're tricking, you're paying the non-select nigga tax. You're paying for the fuck bitch experience.
This
The
is the
fuck
hookup culture, y'all.
Again, that's exactly what it is. It's the hookup culture. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about us marrying and going down the aisle. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hookup culture. Tricking is for those dudes that are non-select to get they fuck bitch on. That's exactly what it's there for. It's part and parcel of the hookup culture because you're paying them to leave. You're paying them to leave. You're not paying them to stay. You're paying them to leave.
See,
And
that's
so,
what I'm trying to get them to understand is all these men complaining and whining about why I didn't get chose. She went a black, she with a white man, and she with Walmart Tavius. If you want to be chosen because you're competent, then you got to do away with the hookup culture. Because
well,
see,
then you got to explain what this chosen. Well, I guess you just did when you said do away with the hookup culture. Because see, if you're going to be chosen, if it's a long-term thing, the competent guy is going to beat that nigga every time. If it's a long-term marriage situation, the competent guy, it's his game.
wrong in the hookup culture. But if the hookup culture is gone, we're going to go back to pre-50s where people got married. They did not stay single for long.
But here's the thing. You just repeated what I said. You just said it differently. If it's a long-term marriage thing, the competent guy is going to win that in terms of choice.
Right. That means most of them need to become competent.
Okay. Well,
That means do away with the hookup culture. A lot of people, the majority of people in the hookup culture ain't got nothing. That's
but
why
here's
they in the hookup
but
culture.
but here's the thing. Even if they go to the long-term culture, even if they secure the bag, a lot of them are going to secure the bag with women that they don't want to fuck. See, that's problematic too.
Do what
Because
now? Say that again.
even if they even if they secure the bag, a lot of them are uncomfortable securing the bag with women that they have no sexual desire to.
Okay,
That's
then
a problem. So
that's
if you're in a situation to where this person, and this goes back to what I've been saying, and you discounted it, if they have not had that sexual experience, if they have not gotten those notches on their belt, if they haven't gone through, you call it the dog stage, Tariq Nasheed calls it the player stage. If they have not gone through that stage where they have had those sexual experiences, they're not gonna be good to any woman. They're not gonna be good to a good girl, and they're not gonna be good to a hoe. They're gonna
I
get
mean,
dogged
there's
by the
always
hoe,
gonna be
and they're gonna
hoes.
play the good girl. They're gonna abuse the good girl and get played by the hoe. And
Right.
that's exactly what's happening right now. They're being played by the hoes and they curving the good girls.
Well,
That's exactly what's happening.
right, but if back in the day though, and I told the story about this on my channel, where when I used to go visit my grandparents in Waco, Texas, and I would stay for the summer, there was a street back there where Paul Quinn College was, whatever that main thoroughfare was, and at night the street lights were knocked out, and we would have to take that back way to my grandfather's house, and we would see the streetwalkers. We would see the trannies, and that was a huge thing in the 80s to see trannies, but we would see the streetwalkers up and down. In other words, what I'm saying is there will always be hoes, but they were in a section. You had to go to a certain part of town. You knew
You had to
you
seek out the hoes.
Right now, everybody's a hoe. That's the hookup culture. If we
Because the
do away
hookup
with the
culture
hookup
makes
culture,
being
we make
hoe.
every
You saw that tonight. You saw a girl up here talking, confessing that she was a hoe. Because in the hookup culture, the hoe is queen.
Exactly. And in the hookup culture, women determine who they want to sleep with, which means it's the same 20% of guys. And he doesn't have to be competent, as we well know. He could be the thug, he could be your prisoner, it could be her school teacher, it could be anybody. That 20%, as long as he look good, he does not have to be confident.
But again, even if we go to the other side of the culture, and this goes back to the argument I was saying earlier, and it goes for the girls as well as the guys. But let me go into the not the hookup culture, but the marriage culture, if you will. A lot of dudes are gonna be left out, even in the marriage culture, because you're asking them to marry women that they're not attracted to. And what these dudes are saying,
Who said that? Who
no,
said
no,
that?
no, 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 no. Well, I'm not saying you're asking them to. They're going to wind up. Let me not say you're asking
Why?
them. They're going to
Why do you
wind
say
up because these are dudes that have not gone through the experience. They do not have the they haven't gone through that dog stage. That's why. They haven't
But
gone
they
through the
still have
dog stage.
eyes, Maceo.
They still have what?
They still have eyes, Maceo.
They can have eyes, but they haven't had that experience. And when they get in that marriage, what they're going to do, they're going to abuse that good girl. They're going to cheat on, they're going to endanger the bag for the hoe. You're going out the world ass backwards because these dudes have to have that experience. These
But
dudes are not going
I just said they still have access to holes. They
well, they
still
have,
have access to holes. So they're
but
gonna go.
you don't have access to holes when you married, though. That's the thing. Well, let me take that back. You do have access to holes, but it's probably not a good idea to be fucking around with holes when
Right,
you're
you get
married and you
that out
got
of your
something to lose.
system. Right, you go sleep
Exactly.
with the easy girl, and then you go get married. Right, none of that changes. That's always been the deal.
But
What I'm
that's what I'm
saying is,
saying.
it'll
I'm
be
saying
more
that.
women that are wife material, more men that are competent that can step in and make families. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. I think we're making two different points. My point here is this, is that if you're asking those competent men, because you said, well, they prefer ratchets, and I'm telling you, no, they don't prefer ratchets. They really prefer decent women. But the thing is they have to smash the ratchets. That shit has to get out of their
Oh
system.
my
They got to
God,
go through that.
Maxwell. Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
say marry them. I didn't say cuff them. I didn't say give them the bag. Dollar Will put it, he said it eloquently. That's what tricking is for. That's why I don't get bent out of shape when when motherfuckers are talking about, tricking and so forth and so on, because in the final analysis it always comes down to your money, because a competent man is going to provide for his family. Your money is always a part of the equation in any relationship. But what I'm saying is, if you get these guys, let's say you remember WKRP in Cincinnati, you remember that show?
Yes.
Okay, you got Les Nessman. Les Nessman and the other little plain Jane looking girl in the show, I forget what her name is, right?
Bonnie, I think.
Yeah, Bonnie. Les Nessman is not going to do right by, and I think Les Nessman was actually married, so this might be a bad example, but
Andy.
I'm losing the phenotype. You don't get Les Nessman is not going to know how to appreciate Bonnie because he has not had access to Jennifer.
Les wasn't married. Herb. I think you thinking of Herb. Herb was married.
Herb Tarlick. Yeah, Herb Tarlick was married. But anyway, Les Nessman can't appreciate the beauty of Bonnie because he hasn't had access to Jennifer. Now, there are some cases where you will have guys that are quote unquote non-select, that are attracted to uh, non-select women. They may find them sexy because sexual attraction and sex appeal is subjective. We need to say that too. It's subjective because different guys may find different things sexually attractive. But I'm saying generally, by and large, when you see a lot of these guys curving the good girls and getting with the hoes, it's because they don't have the experience. They don't have experience with hoes. They haven't gotten that whole accreditation. They don't have the whole certification, the hood rat certification. They don't have their thought form signed off. They haven't got the thought form, the signature on the thought form. They haven't
Oh my
gotten that signed
God,
off.
Maceo.
So you
God.
have to understand that if they haven't had that experience, and then if you go marry that man and you send a hoe in and a hoe starts flirting with that man, your bag is in danger. Your bag is in jeopardy. Your bag is about to be taken from you.
Hmm.
He don't know that that hoe is not something that you invest in. He don't know that that hoe isn't where you put your money. You don't put the smart money is never on the hoe. The smart money is never on a hoe. The smart money is always on the good girl. But if you can't make that distinction because your mind and your criteria is crowded, excuse me, or clouded by your sexual desires and your fantasies, you will lose your way and you will lose your money. And you may even lose your damn life.
Ooh, I remember I got mad at my boyfriend because I thought he was interested in a ratchet. I was enraged. I was enraged. Hold on. Somebody said Nicole, her name was Bailey Quarters. Okay, okay, cool.
Well,
Thank you.
Angela said, yeah, they need to get that nasty stuff out of their system. No, Angie, they still gonna want to do nasty stuff with their
Okay, so what
wife.
is the good girl to do, Mr. Maceo? What is he to
He,
do to satisfy his thought urges?
well, again, are you talking about when they get married, or are you talking about the hookup
Yeah,
culture?
that's what you said. You said it's
Okay,
never gonna go away because he still got.
because she's saying they need to get that nasty stuff out of their system, as though this nigga gonna become a monk or a eunuch when they get married. No, he's still gonna want his dick sucked.
Okay, but who said the good girl can't do that, Maceo?
No. Listen to what I said. She said get that nasty stuff out of his system.
Yeah, she's saying that
She
before
said,
he get married, though. That's what Angela means.
yeah,
Before,
but
right?
even after he gets married, he's still gonna want some nasty shit.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Then that's why I asked my question, Maceo. How does a good wife please her man?
A
Because
good world. I'm gonna answer that question. You ready? A good girl pleases her man by being the thought that he just left.
oh my God. Mm.
You wanted an answer. I gave it to you.
How does she know? Are
You
all thoughts
wanted an
created?
answer. I gave
Okay,
it to you.
okay. So how are all thoughts created equal? Like she
No,
should go look up his
he
ex thought?
no.
Like, I mean,
Here's the
explain.
problem. No, they need, just like when they sit down and they're getting married, right? When they get ready to sit down to determine whether or not whether or not they're going to get married, and they talk about a bunch of different things. They need to talk about sex, just like they need to talk about money. That woman need to be free to say, I'm expecting you to hold down these obligations. No crying, no whining, no bitches. This is what I'm expecting. And he should be able to say, look, I expect you to be on these nuts whenever I unzip my pants. He should feel free to say that. He
Right.
should feel free to say, look, when I pull my dick out, your tongue stick out.
Amazing.
He should be free to say that.
Oh my God, clutch my pearls. Oh my.
He should be
Mm.
free to say that. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, no, you expect me? You goddamn right, I expect you to do that.
So no
I've been
proof.
working 12, I've been working 12 to 14 hours a day. I've been working 12 or 14 hours a day. I'm stressed. I need some relief. You
So
need
the
to
only the only replica so the only thing you want in your woman that resembles a thought is her sexuality. That's the part you want to bring into the marriage,
Yep,
is the sexuality part,
the
not her.
sexuality. No,
Okay.
not that. Anything else. I just want you to be a thought in bed. I want my wife to be a thought in bed. Everything else, I want you to be, on the square with. I just want you to be a thought in bed.
Well,
That's
Angela
it.
will tell you. Angela will tell you. She's in my future wives club. Angela will tell you. I tell them to be a slut for their husbands.
They should be a slut for their husband. Say, this ain't no grease. Keep your filthy paws off my silky drawers. No, bitch.
Maceo. Oh my god.
No.
Oh my
No.
god.
Bend over to the front and touch your toes. Pop, lock, and drop it. Let's get it.
Maceo.
Let's get it.
Oh my god.
No, let's get it. The same way, you want them bills paid with no complaint. I'm gonna pay them bills with no complaint. The
Angela would
same
tell you.
way, the
Right. Angela.
same way you
Mhm.
want the opportunity to go out and you want to show off, with your girls or whatever. You want to do all that shit. Okay, I get that. Those are my responsibilities, but you have some responsibilities too.
Angela and Devin, they're in my future wives club. They will tell you we've talked about fellatio, we've talked about pleasing our men sexually. So I've covered that, right? But when you start talking about she need to be like a thought, that's kind of like, well, so basically she needs to not be afraid of the hardcore sex.
You
Because
need,
the
yeah,
thought
you need.
is not afraid of the hardcore sex.
Your name should be Cherokee Diaz. Your name should be
Oh
Sky
my
Black.
God,
That's what your
Macio.
name in the bedroom. That's what you should be. You should be Cherokee Diaz. You should be Sky Black. That's what you need to be. That's what you need to be. So don't come in and, well, no,
So,
I don't
Maceo, when do
I
you ever
don't
give
feel
your
like it.
woman? When do you ever get your wife? Give your wife foreplay. Angela wants to know that. When do you give your wife foreplay?
Foreplay is a part of the sexual experience. It's a part to say you should do that at the beginning of sex, but you're gonna have to understand sometimes a nigga don't want no foreplay. Sometimes I need some head. Shut up. Give me some head.
Oh my
I don't
God,
have time for
Maceo.
that all the time. Shit. Yeah, I know you
Oh
want some
my
foreplay,
God.
but right now I need to get this off. I'm aggravated. I'm aggravated. I'm twitching. I'm upset. I'm going through withdrawals. I need some shit. Let me be able to breathe first. Let a nigga breathe first. Let me be able to, let me be able to get this load off so I can think straight.
Oh my God, Maceo was so extra, y'all. All my ladies in the chat, we're all clutching our pearls right now. Like, oh my goodness,
Well,
Maceo.
you over here on my channel now.
I know.
You over here
I
on
know.
my
That's why
channel
I
now.
said. That's why I shut up. I was like, oh.
And what they say? They said because they got this thing. Well, and then they want to talk. And then they got this thing where they want to talk like hoes now. They taking advice from hoes and arrogant strippers. The only thing a hoe can teach you or should teach you is how to please your man. You don't take long-term relationship advice from a hoe. A hoe can tell you how to suck dick. She can't tell you how to keep a ring on your
It
finger.
just needs to be balanced. Like Angela said, it needs to be balanced where you can't just, it's always bang, 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 bang. It's got to be some, come here, baby. Let me rub your back. Come here, baby. Let me hold your hand in public because
I'm not
you like
saying
the
I'm not
PDA.
saying there shouldn't be intimacy because for me, intimacy and sex are not the same thing. Intimacy is
They're not
holding
the
in
same thing.
public. They're not the same thing. Intimacy is holding someone's hand in public. Intimacy is doing all those little romantic things. Those are intimacy. Those things are intimacy to me. Intimacy is the little date nights. Intimacy is those quiet stolen. I co-sign. I agree with that. But when I need to get off, I need you to understand. I need you to understand, and I need you to co-sign. I
Right.
need you
And
to
a feminine woman that's not working full time will be able to do that.
yeah.
That's what all the fellas was like. Why, 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 why. When I said if
Only
she ain't
thing,
working full time, she can do that.
but here she go now. But sex and intimacy for me is the same. Well, okay. God bless your husband. If you got one, God bless your husband. Because there are times when men want to be intimate, and there are times when they don't want to be intimate. There are times when they want the love making experience, and there are times when they need their fucking bells rung. And that it's not going to
Oh
be a
my.
situation where they have to sit down and give you a rose all the time. No, 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 no. Juggle these balls. Chop, chop. Let's go.
Oh my God,
Shit.
Maceo. Right. So
and,
yeah, I agree
and
with
he
you. I agree.
and he don't want to, talk about that. And see, now some people gonna automatically see that's what I'm talking about, giving it all to you with no pleasure for me. No, 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 no. Nobody said there's no. That's why you need to sit down and have this conversation. You need to sit down and
Miss
have this
V,
conversation.
Miss V, because he's going to give you that emotional closeness because that's what you require him, to do. And then once you connected with him to where you feel comfortable, now that's just how we built. Once we connect with a man and he's opened up and we can touch his soul, he can touch our soul. Now we can be every kind of bitter freak that he wants us to be. Um,
But these things need to be discussed before you start talking about marrying somebody.
Then you can ask for that credit card when you get done juggling his, all that.
Exactly.
Go
But
on, let me hold that card,
that's right. You can
while you
hold
get
his
yourself.
card.
Okay.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's fair exchange is no robbery. Fair exchange is no motherfucking robbery. You damn right. So my thing has always been this: as long as you get that understanding out the way, you need to know what is your man's sexual fingerprint. You need to know that, and he needs to know what is your financial fingerprint.
Angela, what is
What are
he
your spending habits?
misunderstanding? Angela, what is he misunderstanding, dear?
You know,
She says she thinks you're a big
no, I'm not misunderstanding. That's just her talking. I know what I'm saying is this. She's misunderstanding what I'm saying. It's not anything different.
okay.
She's just talking. But anyway, what I'm saying is this: is that stuff needs to be discussed. All of that needs to be discussed.
Hmm.
That needs to be all that shit needs to be
Marriage negotiations, absolutely.
marriage negotiations. All that needs to be. This is what my responsibilities are, and here's what your responsibilities are. And that never happens. That never happens because a lot of times, and we don't talk about this either, we choose each other for the wrong reasons.
Yes,
Nobody discussed
facts.
that either. We choose each other for the wrong reasons. And then when we don't get what we're looking for, now we're shocked. you know well, you chose her because she know how to suck a dick, but she reckless with money, so now you in bankruptcy. You chose her because she know how to fuck, but she's fucked up because she's been sexually abused. You didn't pay attention to all of the bells and whistles that you should pay attention
So
to when you're vetting.
So basically, what you're saying is that women shouldn't get mad at their man for looking at a thought or being sexually attracted to a thought. Of course, he shouldn't be cheating, right? But she shouldn't get mad. She should study their sexy ways and bring it home to him. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I think she needs to look at that, take that, but you never take relationship advice from a thought. Never take relationship. You can take sex advice from a thought. You can take ways to stroke your man's ego from a thought. But you cannot take relationship advice from a thought. You cannot take relationship from arrogant whores and strippers because they know nothing about or know very little about long-term
Mm-mm.
relationships. Or generally, they know very little about long-term relationships or marriages.
Angela said, I was just saying I don't mind doing all of that. Just could I get something in return? That's it.
Exactly. You negotiate that up front.
Yeah, you tell them, look, I need some quiet time. I need a date night. I need a
Mhm.
vacation. Yeah, you negotiate that.
You should
Yeah.
negotiate, and he has to be okay with that. If he's not okay with that, you need to go get another nigga. Cause thinking he gonna change, no, he ain't gonna change. He's that way up front. That's who he is, and that's what he is.
Hmm. Well, that's the problem with a lot of these girls out here is that they've only gotten sexual advice from mama and grandma. And so,
Facts.
mhm.
And so they think that sex is the end all be all of the relationship where you know how to fuck, but you don't know how to do anything else. You don't know how to hold a conversation. You don't know how to encourage him. You don't know how to uh, be interested in the things that he's passionate about. You don't even know how to hold a conversation with him. You just know how to suck a dick. And then after a while, what happens is sex with this motherfucker becomes a chore because sex with you becomes a chore. You treat it like a chore, he treated like a chore. And
Yeah,
then
that's not fun.
here you are thinking, here you are thinking that, okay, you are his 10, but he cheating on a bitch that's like 5 grades below you, and you don't understand why.
The Sneak has a question for you,
So
Tony.
relationships are not about love. It's a transactional relationship. All relationships are not all relationships are transactional. But that doesn't mean because it's transactional that the presence of a transaction doesn't necessitate the absence of emotion. That's what I'm telling you. You
Thank you. Marriage is business.
yes, you can love someone, but you still have certain responsibilities. Yes, it's transactional. Of course, it's transactional, but that doesn't mean that you're heartless. That doesn't mean that you don't hold some degree of love for the person. It's not an either or situation. It's an and but.
Right. Absolutely. Rules are different for each relationship type.
Yes, Miss V said yes. When sex became a chore for me, I had one foot out the door. You're right. When sex became a chore for him, when it became a chore for him to get sex from you because it was a chore, he had one foot out the door, or he will have one foot out the door. You know,
Ladies, don't let no thought take your man. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Not well, she can't take him, but she can definitely be on top of him. So, don't let that happen. Listen to Mr. Maceo.
but then they said, well, the thing is, they said, well, um, then they said because Miss Angela's back again. She says you only really love your children, but relationships are conditional and transitional. Yes, yes, I would agree with that. But I would say even your children require something from you. Yeah, they love you conditionally, but I don't think they're going to like you very much if you don't feed them. I don't think they're going to like you very much if you don't clothe them, you know. So all relationships have a transaction to them. All relationships have, and that shouldn't
Adult
stop
relationships,
that
yes.
that shouldn't stop you from having a relationship just because it's transactional. The world moves off of transactions. The world moves off of exchanges. That's life. That's why I don't get out of when I was explaining earlier about the tricking part. He said, "Well, how do you explain us being uh, unabashedly uh, calling ourselves tricks?" I said, "Because the simple fact is that's the dynamic. It's always an exchange. You don't get anything for free. You don't get anything for free. I don't believe in any such thing as free pussy. Pussy is not free. Those guys that are saying that, of course, they may score big at a club. Of course, they have one night stands. And of course, they will sleep with these dudes for free. But they don't tell you the longer that game goes, the power dynamic in that situation switches. Soon, that bitch that they was getting sex from for free, they will be buying her tennis shoes. They will be buying her Coach bags. They will be buying her expensive clothes
Or spending hours on the phone with her, cupcaking.
or cupcake. And yeah, they don't tell y'all that. They tell y'all about the consequences. They don't tell you about the excuse me, they tell you about the conquests. They don't tell you about the consequences and responsibilities. They just tell you about the conquest. So you think that shit is all sweet, and it's not all sweet. But that's what they selling to y'all. That's what they having you to come and buy and become a member of their Patreon. And this is my personal opinion. There are always strings attached. There's no such thing as short, especially in the black community. There's no such thing as short-term sexual relationships in the black community. What the hell do short-term sexual relationships mean when we got a 70% out of wedlock birth rate? What the hell is short-term about that?
Right. Right. Just a bunch of animals just
So
sleeping
they're
around.
not
Yeah.
telling you guys everything. They're
Mm-hmm.
telling you half the truth. They're not telling you what's going on behind closed doors. They're not telling you how they're cupcaking and buying rings and moving women in with them and all that shit. They're not telling
Oh,
you.
or wait, all these cute hobos and all these folks up here talking about I ain't gotta buy no woman no drinks. I can stand in the parking lot and holler at you. Most of them have lied. That's part of the game.
Those
They
are the
may
niggas
not be
I've been talking about.
that yeah, they may not be coming out of money, but
Mhm.
they doing a whole lot of lying.
Well, they are coming out of money, and that's why they're lying. Because the same niggas that are saying that, those are the same niggas buying the tennis shoes. Those are the same niggas buying the Coach
To
bags.
sell a
Those
facade that they yeah.
exactly. Those are
Mhm.
the same niggas buying the expensive clothes. Those are the same niggas out stealing and robbing for them. Or what women will do if you don't have any money. what a lot of women would, especially the ones that are grimiest, the ones that are the grimiest, they put a nigga on goon duty.
What
They
is
put your
that?
ass on goon. Is where what you're there for. You're there to be an attack dog. That's all you're there for. You're there to be an attack dog. So if some nigga says something slick to her that she done fucked over or she done got into it with some nigga, she put a battery in his back and send him to go get at the nigga. That's why a lot of niggas are in prison now, fighting for the honor, fighting on behalf of a dishonorable chick. Goon duty is when a chick is fucking with a nigga just because he got muscle. She fucking with him just because he know how to throw hands. He ain't got nothing else to give him, so she uses him as an attack dog. That's what it means.
Wow. The dust.
Yes, the dust. They if you don't have any money to give them, they will put you on goon duty. They will get you draped off into some shit that ain't got nothing to do with you, and some shit that you don't even know about, into some shit that you have no clue as to what you getting into, because she gonna tell you everything he did. She gonna tell you everything he did, but she ain't gonna tell you everything she did.
Goon duty. You in these terms. Wait a minute though.
Kaiser Soze once said, Kaiser Soze, and for these niggas that think that their dick is just the end all be all, I want to talk to you too. That Kaiser Soze once said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the masses that he didn't exist. The greatest trick a woman can ever pull is convincing you that time stops with your dick.
Well.
All these niggas that think that, oh, my dick, my stroke game, my this, my that. No, nigga, you getting played. There's nothing about you that's special. She's calling me. Yeah, she's calling you because you're in rotation. Just like she's in rotation, you're in rotation. But she's fucking with your ego and making you think she's special because she's calling you. No, you're another dick in the closet. You're a dildo. That's what you are. You're a dildo. So for you to think, or for you to believe, that, okay, that my stroke game is superior. My stroke game was
and they
this.
be all like 23 and 25 years old. I'm like, you ain't doing nothing at 25 years old. Stop it, boy. Stop it. Stroke game. Anyway.
He said, Kaiser Soze said that when he was conning a detective. Yes, sir. Kaiser Soze got away too. He got away. So again, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the masses that he didn't exist. And the greatest trick a woman ever pulled is making you believe that time stops and starts with your dick. There's nothing about you that's special. There are a million niggas like you that she can go and get with a dick in her bedroom. There's nothing special about you. There are a million niggas just like you.
Yeah, you're actually, and here's the thing, Maceo, I really want you to talk about this. Because I think you touched on it on my channel, but you're guys who always bragging about my mouthpiece and my dick game and my all that. Actually, you're more replaceable than the confident guy. You're more replaceable because you don't have nothing. You're broke. The fact that you're not doing anything for her means that she can replace you. There's several of you in her life, but that competent dude is probably only one of him. More than likely, it's only one of him, and she knows it.
It is only, and there are many definitions of game though, because I have to figure out what they mean by game. But when most niggas are talking about game, they're talking about getting over. That's what they're talking about when they use the word game.
Ladies.
Or what they're doing is this. A lot of dudes are talking about game, and here's what they mean. Iceberg, there's a great quote that was attributed to Iceberg Slim. Iceberg Slim once said, he loves when his hoes are laughing because it means that they're asleep. So what these guys are doing, they found these little personality hacks in women. And what they're doing is when they use quote unquote game, they're exploiting these little personality hacks in women. And one of the leading hacks in women is humor. They're using humor to seduce you. So what they're doing is they're coming off, they're using their quote unquote mouthpiece to appear attractive, because what they're trying to do is seduce you through their humor, because a lot of women attribute humor as a mark of intelligence, or humor is a marker of intelligence. So what they're doing is they're trying to use humor as a form of seduction. So when they start talking about kicking game, what they mean is they're entertaining women. Some of them mean they're entertaining
Little
women.
circus monkeys. You know, the monkeys with the little red vest on with the little hat.
Yes,
what they're
doing,
that's what they are.
what they're doing is they're entertaining women. That's what they mean when they say game. They're entertaining you. Robert Greene in the 48 Laws of Power said that most of your actions are motivated by boredom. And I have found this more so when it comes to women. Women love entertainment. Women love entertainment. And there are three types of dudes that you can be. If that's broken down, and I'm talking about in Black America. You remember the movie Friday, right?
Yes.
There are three types of men represented in that movie. There's Debo, there's Smokey, and there's Craig, right? So a lot of niggas will, when they talk about game, they're talking about Smokey. Smokey knew how to talk shit. Smokey knew how to crack jokes, you see. So because he was good at cracking jokes, because Iceberg, I don't know if I finished the quote. Iceberg Slim said that he loves when his hoes are laughing because it means that they're asleep. It means they're not cognizant that they're being seduced.
He's sliding in, right?
He's sliding in under the radar. So a lot of dudes will want to come in under the radar of humor. They're coming in under the radar of entertainment to seduce you. That's how the weed man, that there's not, no man gets more pussy in the hood than the weed man. The weed man gets more pussy. He has broken up more marriages. He has got more illegitimate children that he don't know of out here in the neighborhood.
You talked about that earlier with that chick he's messing with, right?
Yeah. There are more illegitimate dudes out here, more illegitimate children out here from the weed man than you can shake a stick at.
Weed man's baby.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You got a lot of them, a lot of weed men out here that got kids that they ain't claiming, that they don't even know that's theirs. So that entertainment piece is heavy with them. So when they're talking about game, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about a way of seducing women through humor and by entertaining them. That shit gets them, it gets them far to a certain point until the bitch wake up and figure out what they doing.
Three babies later,
when she figures out, and when she figures out when she wakes up and figures out what he is in fact doing, oh, she's done with him. Your jokes aren't funny anymore. You know, she don't want anything to do with him. Then all of a sudden,
she comes over to the square guy.
But it's three goddamn babies too late. It's two goddamn babies too late. So the square guy is saying, look, I want to fuck you, but I'm not putting no ring on your finger. You see what I'm, and by the square guy, I mean the guy that's at the top of his game, the guy that is moderately successful, because he busted his ass building his empire. So he doesn't want to come and be turned into he doesn't want to walk into an instant situation where he's destitute, because not only does he have you to take care of, he has a child that isn't his to take care of. He don't want to walk into that shit, but he will smash you. He will smash you, but he's not going to wife you. And that's about the best deal you're going to get from that guy. Generally. Not that there aren't exceptions, but generally, that's about the best you're going to get from that cat.
So can we, back to the topic of the actual show, Macy? I wanted to ask Mike when he was here, but we go off on tangents, all three of us on the panel. But is it safe to say, because I just talked about this when I did a show on the 8s, 9s, and 10s, the tragedy of 8s, 9s, and 10s, Marilyn Monroe effect. And I talked about how pretty defendants get more lenient sentences would that be applied to Cyntoia? Do you think that there was a lot of sympathy going out for Cyntoia because she was attractive? Go. What do
Yes,
you think?
there's no question. There's no question. There's no, I mean, yes, you can see that. Go into any space in corporate America. The woman in there that's attractive, she coming in, oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh, you should go home. Don't worry about your pay. We got you covered. You'll get, your regular pay. If a bitch is hit, go in there and get that aspirin. Go see the nurse. Go get a Tylenol. Go
Did
get
you
some
say
Robitussin.
if she's hit?
If she's hit, the bitch look like the late Craig Mack. If she look like Craig Mack in the face,
Oh my
bitch, go in
God.
there and get that Tylenol. Get back to work.
You're so mean, Maceo.
You don't want this write up. You're gonna get a write up. You leave, you're gonna get a write up. That's what it is.
Oh my God. Somebody asked, "Was the judge a man?" I don't know. Was the judge a man, Maceo? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know if he was a man or not. But I think that's what happens. I think attracted because it's just like again in business, they've had studies done on this where you take an attractive girl and sit her behind the desk and her exchanges with men. Men will deal with an attractive girl entirely different than they will deal with an ugly one.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Because the ugly girl, you sneak in her house all late and you rude to her. And
Mhm.
remember that scene in what was that? Mo Better Blues when Harris uh Harris
Robin Harris.
Robin Harris was doing the stand-up. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about? He was
yeah. When he said, "Ugly girl, you tell an ugly girl anything, bitch. I'm going to the moon. I'll be back tomorrow." Well, you be careful. You know I don't want nothing to happen to you now. Yeah, yeah. That's real. That's real.
Maceo. Oh God. That's crazy.
But I got to come back and tell the other side though. A lot of them ugly women could put it down in the bedroom.
What?
A lot of these so-called
Maceo.
unattractive and non-select women, they know how to suck a dick.
Well, I'm
They
a four,
inhale
so
dicks.
I'm a four, so
They, a lot of
don't
these
give us don't give up on us ugly girls.
Hey, a lot of these women, they don't suck dicks, they inhale them.
Oh my God,
Okay?
Maceo.
So, it's don't sleep on them. And see, a lot of dudes are you're right. Beth said because they know they have to make up for it. You damn right. They have to
Maceo,
make
have you
up
told that story? Because I know you can't say it on Inner Beauty TV, but you can say it over here because it's your channel.
what?
The story about the chick, because I think you mentioned it on Mac City, in one of the Patreon podcasts where you were talking about she was hit, but she was loyal, like whatever you wanted, like you was looking for one of your bells, and she
Oh yeah, yeah,
tell
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. This chick that I know, she was hit, she's hit. Her body's okay, but she's hit. And so, but yeah, her body's okay, but she's hit. But it's always niggas trying to holler. So what I would do is from time to time, I would, have her putting in work finding niggas for me because niggas are thirsty. Adele Givens said that a bitch can have an eye in the middle of her forehead and a nigga gonna hit that bitch, and she's right about that. She have an eye in the middle of her forehead, and the nigga be like, "But she got a big ass though, dog." Nigga gonna hit that bitch with an eye in the middle of her forehead. He gonna do it. He gonna do it. He gonna do it. So, so this girl,
Oh God.
because I used to get her dude out. I used to get her dude out. I used to give her the hookup on bonds, and so she would get. I would let her get her dude out for 5 or 3%. It's the reason why I did that because if I needed some information in the streets, she was the one that gave it to me. She was the one. And it was like, I said, I'm looking for this dude. She was like, for real? I can't believe you ain't found this nigga yet. What's his name online? And I gave her his name online. She got in that nigga's inbox. That nigga gave her his name. Niggas trip on that. I don't give
Thirsty.
out my government. I don't give out my government name. I don't do that. That nigga gave out his government name, his date of birth, his social security number, his blood type. his firstborn,
He was
all
trying to hit that though.
children. And then she was like, well, where you at? Shit. He was like, I'm at my sister's house. And he had two sisters. She was like, which one? Because I don't get along with the other one. Shit. He gave up his address, where he was. He gave up everything. Everything. Next day, goddamn, he woke up, he was in cuffs. He
Mm.
woke up in cuffs. He was going out the door in cuffs because he was talking big shit to me. Fuck you, Maceo. You'll never catch this nigga. Ha ha, ha ha. I tricked your punk ass. I know I owe you money. You'll never get this nigga. I'm for real. I'm legit. I'm 100. I mean, he's on Facebook
Talking
polls,
cash, right?
talking cash shit, throwing the deuces up in the air. But that girl had a 5-minute conversation in his inbox. And
She
the
just
next
needed 5 minutes.
5 minutes, that's all she needed. Oh, he was in, okay. And she was like, but if I come over there, and this nigga, he had, where he was staying at, his baby mama she was pregnant with his child. She was
Dusty.
pregnant with his child.
Just Dusty.
And he wasn't even living by himself. He was staying at a relative's house. And his baby mama, him and his baby mama was there living with a relative, and she got her baby daddy up there with 2 or 3 niggas. I go in the goddamn house, it's niggas all on the floor, doubled up on the floor, doubled up on the couch.
Just Dusty.
And she's in the back sleeping with him, and he's pregnant, and she's pregnant, excuse me, she's pregnant with his damn child. And so he's saying like, well, you can't come in the house. We can't go anywhere. She was like, so what we supposed to do? He was like, we can go in the car. We can go in the car. I'll eat the booty like groceries in the car. I'll eat the booty like groceries in the car. You know? And she told him something. She spun him and told him something. And next thing I know, the next day we went over there, his ass was in cuffs. His ass
oh my God. So he was gonna try to sleep with her in the car. She ain't even attractive. He just wanted the booty. That's
in
it.
10-degree weather. Negative. It's 10 below. It's 10 below zero. It's snow on the motherfucking ground. In 3 inches of snow, he wanted to eat the booty like groceries in the back seat of the car.
Wow.
Outside of his sister's house. So hey,
thirst.
Don't sleep on these ugly chicks. Don't sleep on these ugly chicks. Don't sleep on them. See, a lot of these niggas are going for, and see, here's the ones that they're going for. I told you before, there are 3 types of women. There are 3 types of women. There are 3 types of hood rats in the hood, right? There's the run-of-the-mill ratchet, there's Big Booty Brenda, and there's the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitches. The Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitches, those are the women that are dressed up in the leggings, the thigh-high boots, they got tattoos everywhere, they look like a woman, but they talk like a nigga.
There's a couple of them around here.
Yeah. That's the chick that a lot of dudes are talking about that they can't fuck. They talking about the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitches. That's who they talking about. The girl with the ghetto booty and the mouth of a damn predicate felon. That's who they talking about.
So they up here. So all of these live streams and all that kind of stuff is really about the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom.
Yes, it's about the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitches. Yep. These Jock Cousteau Jezebels. That's who they talking about.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's some of them thirst trapping around here. Yeah, I've seen.
So what they mean is that's the girl that they talking about who's swerving them. That's who they're talking about. They're not even talking about the girls that are in college. They're not talking about just your run-of-the-mill unattractive black woman. That's not what they're talking. If they were talking about that, I'd have no problem with what they're saying. What they're talking about is the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitch. They mad that they can't swim with the stingray and not get stung. These niggas are Steve Irwin. The
they want to
crocodile
ride
hunter.
the stallion. They want to, because I think on a very basic level, very basic sexual level, that these women bring out the animalistic sexual attraction.
Yes, they do. But then they can't cope with everything that come with these bitches. See, they don't know how to act when these bitches come and ask them to sign their names on some shit. Because that's what come with her. She gonna ask you to commit welfare fraud. She gonna ask you to put your name on some shit that she ain't gonna pay for. You know, she got 2 or 3 scams going on in the streets. You know, she got all kind of shit she doing out there. She fucking a nigga and robbing him. She doing that kind of shit. You know, she licking on another female behind your back. She doing all kind of out of pocket shit going on that you don't know about. But that's the woman you want to break down.
But
And
they
that's
like
why
that. They like
and
that.
but that's why most of the G's, they won't marry those types of women. Most of the G's, most of the OGs, not the G's, the OGs. The OGs will not marry. No, the OGs will be looking for women like you. The OG wants a woman like you.
You know what? We got to continue this, because I think this is going to help the people when they understand, when you break that down, because you break it down like no other, because you are the thought whisperer.
The
Is that what
thought
they call
whisperer.
you?
That's right. The thought whisperer.
Because he
I'm the
loves
thought whisperer.
thoughts.
What they will do, they will come and find a girl like you because you have something. You have something. You have legitimacy. You give them respectability. You clean them up.
Mm.
That's why they want to marry you. Now, whether they do right by you,
Which they
or
won't. Right.
that's another story. Whether they treat you right or perform their obligations as a husband,
They
that's
want
a
a Devin.
that's a different, yeah, that's a different conversation. But they will specifically seek you out. Niggas
That
around here, niggas around here joking about Stacey Abrams, but it's some niggas out here
they will show be up
starving
in
for
her
Stacey
house.
Adams. They will
Mhm.
bend her over and run up in her short nappy braids and all. They will knock the kinks out of those locks. They will ride that big bitch off into the sunset.
Makes
They gives
no-
2 fucks. They don't care.
Wait a minute. Dollar Will said, "Don't tell it all." Yes,
I'm
Maceo, tell it all, because I tell
I'm
it all on my channel.
they
So
will do it. They will do. They talk cracking all these jokes about Stacey Abrams. They said, "Well, those dudes are broke." Yeah, they broke. Yeah, they broke. But they will bang Stacey Abrams in a heartbeat and not be ashamed of it.
we got to do a show about that.
They will sport Stacey Abrams like she is Cherokee Diaz. They will sport her like she is Cherokee and not be ashamed of it.
Oh my
And
God.
dare you to say something about it. Dare
Cherokee the what?
Cherokee Diaz. The fellas know who I'm talking about. They know who Cherokee Diaz is. You know, and you said the broke dudes. Yeah, they're broke. Yeah, and they make no shame of the fact that they're broke because they want a straight laced girl. They
Mm,
want a straight laced
We gotta
girl.
do a show. We gotta do a show about that. Definitely on your channel, because you have us clutching our pearls. Definitely on your channel.
So, I mean, I just call it how I see it. And I say a lot of shit that a lot of niggas won't say. See, they won't be honest. They
Thank
won't
you. That's
tell the
why I
truth.
like Maceo, because you've always been on, even on my channel. That one time you came on, you was like, I think Valdez was up there and Obsidian, and I was like, I wish y'all would just admit it. Y'all like ratchets. And you was the only one, and you was like, yep, I like ratchets. I
Yeah.
was like, does he know what channel he's on?
Yeah.
And then I tried to catch you again. And I said, so Maceo, so you have to be a little ratchet yourself then. And he was like, yep, I'm a little ratchet. I was like, oh my God, he just will not stop. Then I said, what is it about? Well, I like then you started describing what you like.
Yep.
I like bonnets
Cigarette
and
burns,
flip
stab
flops.
wounds, bullet holes,
I was like,
bonnets, black lips from weed, smoke, stretch marks, all of those shit.
oh my God.
Dingy pajama bottoms and Tweety Bird slippers. Yep, that's me.
Oh my God, Maceo.
That's me. So, again, there are more moving parts than what people are willing to admit to. And most of these dudes that you're listening to on these podcasts, they are not telling you the truth. They're not telling you the truth about they're not telling you the truth about the women that they're attracted to. They're
No,
not telling you the truth about who they're talking about. They're not talking about the good girls. Then don't believe that shit.
they're not talking about
They're
us.
not talking about the girl that's in Yale with a 3.8 GPA that plays volleyball, college volleyball. That's not who they're talking about. What they're talking about is the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitch. That's who they're talking about. They're
That's
trying to break
hilarious.
the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom bitch, and they do not have the credentials or the skill set to deal with that woman. They
Maceo,
do.
you're gonna have to do a show where you're giving like relationship advice to these dudes. They kind of lost.
I can't. I see. The thing is I can't really give relationship advice. I can't. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a dating coach, and I don't aspire to be one. I just call it how I see it, and I just tell the truth. I just separate the game from the truth, and I call it how I see it. I don't want to be a dating coach. I don't want to be known as a dating coach because, again, from what I've seen, nobody tells the complete truth. From what I've seen, nobody tells. Everybody in this motherfucker is lying. And dudes will sit up here and tell you how to dominate a girl, and they'll be married to fat white women. You see what I'm saying? So
Ooh,
no, no,
ooh.
no, no. They'll sit up here and tell you how to control and how to dominate women, and here they are married to a fat white woman and all this shit, and they
Who's
telling you
paying
how
the
to do this and how
bills?
to do. Who's paying the bills?
Right.
And what it is they just found them a fat white woman who leased them a dildo. He just became this woman's dildo, and he agreed to have that relationship recognized by the state. That's
Mm, mm,
all that happened. So
mm.
a lot of these niggas that are giving out this shit, giving out this advice, are Negroes who you probably shouldn't be listening to in the first place, because they can't. When you get along with that girl, the game is on you. You have to figure out what to do. That nigga is not going to be in the bedroom with you. That nigga is not going to be out on a date with you. He's
Right.
not going anywhere with you, but he's
Mhm,
telling you what to do. So
mm.
can they hip you to women's nature? Of course they can. They can give you their experience. But even when they give you their experiences, they're not giving you the truth. They're only giving you, again, they tell you about the conquest. They don't tell you about the consequences. And
Maceo,
that's what I have a problem with.
what's your Patreon?
My Patreon is Power of Strategies on Patreon. Power of Strategies. As a matter of fact, this show is going in my Patreon. I'm not going to leave it up for public consumption. My Patreon is Power of Strategies. My PayPal is way of strategy 44 at gmail.com. Way of strategy 44 at gmail.com. My Patreon is Power of Strategies. Again, this one is going in um, my Patreon. So, with that being said, I think we're up to 3 hours and 30 minutes. We've
Yes,
gone a
because I'm
little
getting ready
long.
to go spend time with my significant other. I don't know about
Yeah,
you, but
yeah,
ladies, spend time with
yeah.
your significant
It's
other.
it's prime time hours. I got to go find my ratchet. I gotta find my ratchet. So Power of Strategies on Patreon. Um,
Oh, what was
Way
your
of Strategy 44 on Gmail. Oh, and tune in to, I have an interview coming on Genosha TV. Genosha TV on YouTube is my new channel. I'm not gonna have the niggardry on that. I'm not gonna have any I'm gonna have very little niggardry. Very, 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 very little niggardry. The first interview is gonna be with my homeboy who is married. I got a homeboy who is married. Um, and he's a successful dude. He's my college buddy, and he is married. And we're not going on that channel. I'm not going to shit on marriages and relationships
what?
on
Wait, wait,
that
wait, wait,
channel.
wait, wait.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Maceo is getting ready to talk about marriage? Not
Yeah,
Mr. 75.
my homeboy is married. So I'm going to, chop it up with him. He's one of my good friends. Him and I were in college together. He's like my brother. Another one of my brothers, because I keep my circle small. I don't have a bunch of niggas. In around me. I don't believe in the crowd. I don't do that. But this is one of my brothers. He's one of my best friends ever, and he's also a martial artist, a very skilled martial artist, as a matter of fact. And
Oh yeah,
I'm
because you
gonna
did the show on martial arts the other
yep.
day, right? So
Why
for
yep.
you brothers that are into that, that's a good
Why
show.
black
Yeah.
men need to learn to defend themselves. Absolutely. So I'm going to have him on there. We're going to chop it up about, what he's been up to. He's going to talk a little bit about married life. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. But Genosha TV is a channel for positive people. It is a channel for positive output. It is a channel for overachievers. It is a channel for the classic man. It is the channel for the square dudes. Matter of fact, my first edition on on Genosha TV is going to be called The Square Root. That's going to be one of my shows, and I got that from someone in the chat. I think either last show or show before last. It's going to be called The Square Root on Genosha TV, The Square Root. So it's going to be for squares. It's going to be for regular people. We're going to bring back traditional values. We're going to bring back traditional values. We're going to bring back manhood. We're going to bring back patriarchy. We're going to bring back
Yay!
all the real shit that you need for a community. That means I'm going to talk to the IT guys. I'm going to talk to the tech guys. I'm going to talk to the STEM guys. I'm going to talk to the engineers. I'm going to talk to the investment bankers, the financiers. I'm going to talk to another brother who I want to talk to. I've been aching to talk to him for the longest, and that's the urban aboriginal. We're going to talk about prepping and survivalism. How do you survive? And, if there's a storm or hurricane like Katrina, how do you thrive and prosper? All the things that you need to know in order to be an effective person. And it's not just open to men, it's open to women too. That red pill shit will not be carried over in my space. Fuck them pills,
So it'll
whether they
be
be
female friendly,
it
lady.
will be, yep, it will be open to women. It'll be open to the women, the so-called homely looking or plain Janes. You can come
Oh,
over
so
there.
we're welcome over there.
You're
Thank you,
welcome over there.
Tony.
The homely chicks, the so-called homely chicks, if you are overachievers, if you are engineers, if you're scientists, if you're mathematicians, if you're clerks, if you work for the government, if you have a nice little comfortable job, come over there and find you a square dude. Come over there and holler at you a square dude, because that's what we're promoting. We're not promoting tricking over there. We're promoting uh, prosperous, viable, healthy relationships among successful people. We're going to talk about successful shit. We're going to talk about how to prosper. We're going to talk about being successful. And it's open to everyone. It's not just going to be about um, black men, although it's going to be catered to black men and black women, but it's going to be open to everybody, regardless of the color of their skin. So it's going to be a different channel. We're going to show the best of the black community. That's what Genosha TV is about. It is about the best of the black community, not the dregs, not the malcontents, not the miscreants, not the fuck ups. It's going to be about the best of us in black America.
No niggatry?
No, well, 10% niggardry so that it's entertaining. We gotta have in 10% niggardry so that it's entertaining. But for the most part, nah, we keeping that niggardry out of there. So if you like niggardry and you have an appetite for niggardry, you best to stay on this channel or go to Max City. We're not doing niggardry over there. Genosha TV. The link will be up for the people in Patreon. My Patreon subscribers, it'll be up. If not, you just have to get it where you find it.
Can I post
Uh,
links here?
yeah, you can post the link in there.
Okay.
So come in and check that out. Before I leave, Dollar Will said I wanted the name for myself, but you thought it would serve you, but you thought would serve it better for power and strategy. I
Oh
don't know
God.
what that means. I don't know what that means, but
He's
yes.
saying he wanted the link, but he thought you'd like it better for your channel.
Oh, okay. Okay. But in any addition, that's going to be Genosha TV. That's again going to be
Oh,
for the
that's
best and brightest. It's for the best and brightest. I don't want no dum dums, no scatterbrain, no muddle headed Negroes on that channel. That's not for you. Leave that somewhere else. Don't bring that over to Genosha TV because it's only for the best and brightest in Black America.
I'm
That's
posting
what
the
it's for.
link. So hold on. Let's see.
Okay. I see it in the chat room. I see it in the chat room. And I would like to thank everybody for showing up to this live. I would like to thank you guys for your support. And again, this is going up in my Patreon because I need new material. With that being said, I would like to thank my brother for coming on here, the Fat Mack, the almighty triple XL, coming on here and providing us with a little bit of life experience and comic relief. And I would like to thank my guest, Miss Nicole Michelle, for coming up here and being the devil's advocate. She was a great sport tonight. She tried to hold our feet to the fire.
I
I don't
was
think
holding,
she quite
clutching my pearls. You know how you and Big Mike do. So
Yeah, yeah. So
I
you
love.
you put up a good effort, yeah, but it's all love. And go over there and subscribe to her channel because she's putting down. Now you want to talk about game over there is real game. She's putting down real game. Listen to her because she's actually telling you something that might save your life. She's telling you how to change the game. What she's telling women is how to find husbands. Stop being conquests and start being uh, uh, um, wives. Stop being a nigga's conquest, and start being a nigga's destination, you know. So you go over there and get that game and learn how to become a wife. Learn how to secure the bag.
Because we
Learn
just
how
got
to.
another engagement the other day. So
Yes, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She got another engagement on her channel, and Negroes are running around here to my show me results. Well, she has results. She has receipts. Listen to her. She knows she's competent. She knows what she's talking about. She will always find a friend over here. She's always going to be a friend to Mac City. She's always going to be a friend to myself and Big Mike, and we support her because at the end of the day, no matter what we say, we stand for righteousness. No matter what you hear us say, we always say this shit is entertainment, but at the end of the day, we stand for truth and we stand for righteousness. So with that being said, I'd like to thank my guest for coming on here, and I
For
would like to
having me. Thank you.
thank you. I would like to thank all the people here that showed up tonight. Hopefully this channel will grow, and hopefully Genosha TV will grow. And with that, again, in the words of the late Don Cornelius, we wish you love, peace, and soul.